A sky prison costing hundreds of billions. Yet it only had one cell, and even required 100,000 guards guarding it day and night, with the sole purpose of monitoring a 20-year-old prisoner. Even though this sole prisoner had 9 soul-suppressing nails pinning his entire body, no one dared to step within 10 meters of him. This was because 3 years ago, you faced a brutal siege by countless foes and security forces. On the path, thousands of top-tier experts even killed dozens of warriors from various Western countries. But you also, in that great battle, were afflicted with a rare spring poison. Completely out of control, you defiled the dragon country's only female war god. This caused her to lose all her combat power, completely becoming a cripple. Afterwards, the guilt-ridden woman voluntarily accepted the dragon country's suppression. She was only released when the dragon country encountered an irresistible criminal. Only then was she allowed out. And today is your 6th time being released from prison. The warden pulled out one of your 9 soul-suppressing nails. Then he brought you to the Yang clan's Lin family, saying there was a 5-star criminal they wanted you to deal with. At this moment, everyone from the Lin family had gathered in the entire compound. But they showed no tension as if facing a powerful enemy. Instead, each of them, with faces full of malice, stared at the blood-soaked woman in the cage. You frowned slightly and asked, "Where is the person the Lin family wants to deal with?" The Lin family patriarch, Lin Sheng, walked out from the crowd. "You are the dragon-trapping prison's most cruel prisoner. You've come at just the right time." Saying this, he pointed at the woman in the cage. "It's her. I want you to torture her in your cruelest way. Humiliate her. Make her wish she were dead." Seeing this, your expression instantly turned cold. "Is this what you call a dangerous 5-star criminal? Just this woman?" "No, in our eyes, she's not just 5-star, she even exceeds 5-star, because she not only dared to refuse me, she even dared to kick and injure my lower body. I want this foolish, audacious woman to wish she were dead. If you do well, my Lin family will not mistreat you. In fact, with just one word from me, you can be free." You raised an eyebrow slightly. Actually, you could have been free long ago. You just didn't want to. You slowly walked to the iron cage's front, wanting to see who this woman was, who dared to offend the Lin family. Just as you reached the side of the iron cage, a pair of blood-stained hands grabbed your foot, begging, "Please, don't kill me. Don't kill me." You originally intended to move your foot, but this voice felt familiar to you. You looked down, and beneath the messy, disheveled hair, a terrified face, stained with blood, entered your sight. It was actually Wanqiu. This was someone you would never forget, no matter what. For the past 3 years, you had been in prison entirely because of her. 3 years ago, you were poisoned with a potent toxin, barely surviving. That kind of poison required intercourse with a woman, and an ordinary woman would surely die. It just so happened that you encountered the dragon country's female war god, Wanqiu, at that time. In that moment of losing control, you defiled her. From then on, she lost her combat power and became an ordinary person. Even worse than an ordinary person. Filled with guilt, you chose to atone for your sins in prison. At the same time, you were also recovering from your injuries. You just never imagined you would see her here. "Please, don't kill me. Please." She directly kowtowed to you. Her head was covered in blood, utterly humble. What exactly happened in these 3 years to make a war god fall to such a state? You opened the iron cage. The Lin family members were stunned. But the warden said indifferently, "Don't worry. With him here, there won't be any trouble." The Lin family patriarch laughed and said, "Li Wanqiu, do you think you can run?" "No, I won't run." She knelt miserably before Lin Cheng. "Lin family master, my daughter. Where is my daughter? Please, I beg you, spare my daughter. She's only 2 years old. My 2-year-old daughter." You looked at the utterly miserable Li Wanqiu. This woman actually had a daughter? The Lin family patriarch burst into laughter. "Ha ha ha! You still remember your daughter? When you refused my son and kicked him, did you ever think that you had a daughter? My son merely wanted you to accompany him for a few nights, to let him experience the taste of a war god. But you, not only were you ungrateful, you also kicked and burst his lower body." Li Wanqiu trembled in fear. "Li Wanqiu, I'm telling you, it's too late. Damn. It's too late. I will make you wish you were dead." "No. No." Li Wanqiu collapsed. "I beg you. Please spare Xiao. Lin Cheng stomped his foot on her head. "Back then, my son Lin Fenglu also begged you to spare him like this. But what about you? You shattered his lower body. Don't cry. This world is very fair. People who make mistakes must pay the price," he said, releasing his foot. He pointed at you and said, "That's the person my Lin family retrieved from the dragon-trapping prison. He is the most brutal, most cruel person in this world. He's specifically here to deal with you. Of course, perhaps he's also here to deal with Xiao." Li Wanqiu shook her head in despair. "No. If you dare to touch Xiao, my Li family will never let you go." Lin Cheng sneered. "In the past, our Lin family didn't dare to touch your Li Wanqiu, but because your Li family was suppressed by the Zhang family, your Li family was suppressed by the Zhang family, how could they still care about a disgrace like you? Besides, if the Li family, during the 2 or 3 years you were pregnant for 10 months, could only survive by picking up trash in the dead of winter, do you still dare to hope the Li family will save you? How naive." Li Wanqiu looked up in despair, tears blurring her eyes. In a daze, a figure appeared in her mind, a figure like a demon. That demon who made her fall from the clouds to hell. "No. You can't touch Xiao. Her father won't let you off." The Lin family members were stunned. "That man who got you pregnant with a bastard child?" Li Wanqiu nodded blindly. "Yes. He's a demon who kills without batting an eye. Touch me. He might not care. But touch his daughter, and he will kill all of you." Li Wanqiu had no idea who that person was. But at this point, she could only make that demon sound as fierce as possible. Lin Cheng calmly said, "He hasn't been seen for 3 years. He's probably dead. Moreover, if he dares to show his face, the Zhang family of Modu will deal with him." These words shattered Li Wanqiu's last glimmer of hope. She cried out in despair, "No! Demon! You demon! 3 years ago, you defiled me. Where are you? Please, here. Quickly. Save Xiao. Xiao, your heart trembled. You froze on the spot. You, Tianfang, never expected to have a daughter. For many years, you had never dared to hope for a wife and child. Because you were a demon, a murderous king called the Hell Black Dragon, by countless nations and forces. Your Black Dragon assassin organization was notoriously famous, striking fear across the entire Western world. Could a butcher like you be worthy of a wife and child? You never dared to think. But at this moment, Li Wanqiu's words completely shattered the ice in your heart. 3 years ago, to kill you, Over a dozen countries dispatched thousands of top experts to besiege you. They stopped at nothing. Ultimately, you were poisoned by dozens of potent toxins, among which was the most terrifying, spring poison. You thought you would surely die then. Fleeing back home, you only wished to return to your roots. But you never expected that when the poison took effect, you encountered Wanqiu. That time, losing control, you defiled her. Now, she actually had a daughter. Your entire being trembled. Slowly, you knelt down and held Wanqiu in your arms. I'm back. Tianfang. I'm back. Wanqiu's body trembled. This familiar voice and aura made her recognize him. She should have hated him, but the cruel life she had lived these past years had made her lose her hatred. She pleaded, "Save Xiao. Please save Xiao. Don't worry. With me here, no one in this world can harm her." The Lin family patriarch's face darkened when he saw this scene. What's going on? You suddenly looked up. A surge of killing intent shot to the sky. The few soul-suppressing nails binding you all popped out. The ground cracked violently. The warden's face changed drastically, and he cried out in horror. Black Dragon, what are you doing? Your gaze was icy cold. Lin family, if you harm my wife and child, today, Tianfang will make your entire Lin family like hell. You held the extremely weak Wanqiu, killing intent overflowing to the Lin family. The family members were trembling under the pressure of this monstrous killing intent. Lin Cheng lay on the ground, looking at you in horror. How dare you? I, Tianfang, have swept across the West for 20 years. A mercenary king, an underground overlord. I've even slaughtered a nation's capital. There's no telling how many people have died by my hand. Your mere Lin family, I can crush with a single kick. Lin Cheng was shocked and terrified. In this world, there actually exists such a terrifying person, but he quickly denied it. Impossible. This world cannot possibly have such a terrifying human-like creature. Do you think big talk can intimidate my Lin family? You're wrong. My Lin family isn't something you can just crush whenever you say. The warden's head buzzed, and he almost fainted. Don't even mention the Yang family, a mere Lin family. Even the great clans of Demon City are not enough for this former killing demon king to slaughter. Something's happened. Something big is about to happen. Patriarch Lin, don't provoke him. Absolutely don't provoke him. Did you really capture his daughter? Release her quickly. Otherwise, something truly terrible will happen. Lin Cheng grew even angrier. His fists clenched, grinding audibly. Something terrible? Something terrible already happened. When he embraced this woman, he was already a dead man. Not just him, but his wife and daughter are all dead as well. After saying that, he roared at his subordinates. Drag his daughter out for me. He wants to die? I want his entire family to die together. A subordinate quickly left. Immediately, Lin Cheng growled at another subordinate. Pass on my order. Summon my Lin family's 3 blood kill commanders. 90 blood kill generals. 3,000 blood kill guards. Today, I want to see how these criminals from Dragonlock prison dare to offend my Lin family. You sneered repeatedly. 3,000 blood kill guards? Even 30,000. Tianfang would slaughter them like dogs. Extremely arrogant. Lin Cheng's angry eyes were bloodshot. He swore he would definitely make Tianfang be ground to dust and suffer eternal damnation. Rumble. Suddenly, the ground shook as if 10,000 horses were galloping. A thunderous voice boomed. Blood kill commander. 7 kills. am here. Who dares to be presumptuous in the Lin family? A man with a gloomy face, leading 30 blood kill generals, entered the Lin family, preceding the blood kill guards. The terrified warden dialed a mysterious number. At this moment, the ground shook violently again. A terrifying roar, shaking heaven and earth, cried, "I, Blood Kill Commander Pajun, am here. Who dares to be presumptuous?" Over 1,000 people followed him, like a colossal black dragon. Immediately after, the last Blood Kill Commander arrived. "I, Blood Kill Commander Tan Lang, have arrived. Who dares to be presumptuous?" 3 great Blood Kill Commanders, 90 Blood Kill Generals, 3,000 Blood Kill Guards surrounded the Lin family, making it impenetrable. Everyone present trembled. Lin Chang stared fiercely at Chen Fan. "My 3,000 Blood Kill Guards have arrived. How do you wish to die?" Li Wanqiu in your arms trembled uncontrollably. "I didn't expect our family of 3 would die together. No. We won't die. 3 years ago, I didn't die. From then on, no one can kill me again." After saying that, you took a step forward, your aura like a rainbow. 3,000 isn't enough. Far from enough. Call out all your connections and forces. Today, I will let you know what it means for blood to flow like a river and corpses to pile up like mountains. Arrogant. Lin Chang and even the Lin family felt that they themselves were already arrogant enough. But they never imagined that in this world there existed someone even more arrogant than them. Lin Chang stared fixedly at you, then sneered, "Good. Since this is your last wish, then I shall grant it." After saying that, he started making calls. Rumble. A motorcade quickly drove up. Hundreds of black-clad strongmen stepped out in unison, their voices like thunder. "My Xiao family is here to lend the Lin family a hand." Soon after, one after another, important figures from the Yang family arrived. The Yang family, among the 10 great families, 5 sent their elites to suppress you for the Lin family. Plus the Lin family's 3,000 blood kill guards. There are now a full 5,000 people standing around you. Lin Cheng's aura was awe-inspiring. "Chen Fan, 5,000 people are enough to grind you into mincemeat. Next, we just need your daughter, and then your family of 3 can be reunited." Clank, clank, clank. Suddenly, a sound rang out, only to see a few Lin family thugs dragging an iron cage over. Inside, a dirty little girl was imprisoned. The little girl continuously thrashed and cried inside. Li Wanqiu pointed at the iron cage, struggling ceaselessly. She seemed to want to say something, but she couldn't shout it out. She painfully clutched her hair and gestured. A full 10 seconds passed before she finally cried out, "Xiao Xiao. She's our Xiao Xiao." Boom. You were struck as if by lightning. You stared fixedly at the little girl in the iron cage. A searing pain made your eyes blood red. Ah! Your heart shattered. A torrent of rage burned fiercely. You held Li Wanqiu, walking step by step towards the little girl in the iron cage. She seemed to sense something, looked over, and upon seeing Li Wanqiu, cried out softly, "Mama! Mama! Xiao Xiao hurts." Li Wanqiu's tears streamed down. She broke free from your embrace and rushed towards the iron cage. You slowly approached. When you reached her, the little girl suddenly stopped crying. She stared with wide eyes, looking at you. "Are you Xiao Cao's daddy?" At this moment, your heart instantly melted. You directly ripped open the iron cage with a large hand. Gently, you picked up the little girl. You said tremblingly, "Yes, I'm daddy. I am Xiao Cao's daddy." Xiao Cao lay on your chest, crying aggrievedly. "Daddy, where did you go? Why didn't you protect Xiao Cao?" "They hit Xiao Cao. Xiao Cao hurt so much. So much." Instantly, you turned completely red with rage, causing the veins in your neck and arms to bulge. Lin Chang said chillingly, "Chun Fan, now that your family of 3 is complete, you can die." As he spoke, several Lin family thugs approached. You suddenly turned your head and roared furiously. Your voice was like a clap of thunder. Everyone felt their heads were about to explode. When the sound disappeared, everyone was stunned, looking at the several thugs who were frozen in place. Lin Chang roared, "What are you still standing there for?" Bang, bang, bang. No sooner had his voice fallen than those few people fell backward one by one. Blood gushed from their facial orifices. Their entire faces became exceptionally contorted. Lin Chang and the others couldn't help but retreat several steps, their faces full of horror. "What's going on?" Someone stepped forward to investigate. The next second, the investigator fled in terror as if seeing a ghost. "Dead. They're all dead." "What?" Everyone's hearts trembled. Lin Chang roared in disbelief. "How is that possible?" At this moment, Blood Kill Commander 7 Kills walked up to Lin Chang. He pointed at you and said loudly, "It's him." It was his roar just now that shattered the brains of Xiao Wu and the others. Killing them, everyone gasped in cold air. Not only the Lin family members, but Li Wanqiu was also stunned. She knew you were terrifying, but she never imagined you were this terrifying. You gently placed Xiao Cao in front of Li Wanqiu. "Take care of Xiao Cao for a bit. Watch how I crush the Lin family." Li Wanqiu stared blankly at you. Xiao Cao in her arms whispered, "Mama, what is Daddy going to do?" Li Wanqiu gently blocked her sight. You slowly stood up, like a waking lion. "I said I would crush the Lin family. Today, even if all the war gods and all the elders cannot save you." In an instant, a wave of killing intent emanated from you. At this moment, it was midwinter, but the Lin family members felt a chill surge through their hearts. Lin Cheng's eyelids twitched wildly, but then he roared defiantly, "Blasphemous words! Kill! Kill him for me!" 2 Blood Kill generals, radiating killing intent, charged towards you. You directly slapped them. Bang! Bang! The 2 Blood Kill generals slammed into a wall several meters away. They instantly exploded into a bloody mist. Blood stained the wall. Everyone's pupils contracted violently. The Blood Kill guards all took a step back. Lin Chang roared, "Kill! All of you! Kill him! Kill him! He can fight 1 or 2. But can he fight 100? 1,000? Rumble!" The next second, hundreds of Blood Kill guards, like a black tide, charged towards you. You, like a sweeping dragon, let out a furious roar. In the blink of an eye, hundreds of Blood Kill guards all lay prostrate on the ground, groaning. Lin Cheng's face turned pale. The 3 Blood Kill commanders also felt an inexplicable fear. "If 100 isn't enough, give me 1,000. Lin Chen roared. Even a mouthful of spit from each person would be enough to drown them. "Kill! Kill! Kill 1,000. Blood Kill roared. "To kill just 1 of you, even if it were 1,000 men, are no match for you." 1,000 men instantly crumbled into disarray. Many people were shaken by your aura before even touching you. Lin Chen's face became extremely grim. He directly roared at the remaining 88 Blood Kill generals. Blood Kill Generals. Advance. 88 Blood Kill Generals. Taking 7 steps forward. You stomped hard on the ground. Scram. Or else. Die. The ground instantly ripped open. A terrifying crack spread from beneath your feet to theirs. Thump. Thump. The 88 Blood Kill Generals immediately collapsed to the ground. With a single stomp, the 88 Blood Kill Generals crumbled. What immense power was this? Seeing this scene, all those present, everyone was greatly shocked. Especially Lin Chen's side, whose faces turned ashen. Tianfang. How powerful to such an extent? He was simply extraordinary, comparable to a grandmaster. Shocked beyond belief. He knew the formidable power of the Lin family's blood kill generals. Yet they were instantly annihilated in one move. For a moment, everyone stood frozen in place. Wanqiu was also stunned. She almost couldn't believe this man possessed such terrifying strength. A deathly silence fell. In the vast scene, not a single sound was made. As if a mute button had been pressed, it was utterly silent. After a long while, little Grass, whose eyes were covered and couldn't see the bloody scene, whispered, "Mama, Mama, what's wrong? Why is everyone quiet? Where's Papa?" A gentle sadness flickered in your eyes. You softly said to little Grass, "Don't worry, Papa's fine. Once we deal with these bad guys, we'll go home." Little Grass softly recalled. "Home, Papa. Let's go home. Mama's roasted potatoes are so delicious on this bloody battlefield." Your conversation with little Grass was unbelievable. Bastard, Lin Cheng, recovering from his shock, woke up. If they were allowed to return safely and reunite, then how could his son, Lin Feng, avenge the great hatred of being cut off from his descendants? How would the Yang family and other aristocratic families mock them then? The Lin family, no, absolutely not, impossible. Lin Cheng's eyes were bloodshot. 3 great blood kill commanders. Kill him. He was the family head. As his voice fell, the 3 commanders, with imposing aura, lunged towards. But your gaze remained gently on your daughter, little Grass. You didn't even look at the Lin family's 3 blood kill commanders. A glance, and with a backhand you struck 3 times. Bang, bang, bang. The Lin family's 3 blood kill commanders were actually blasted apart in mid-air. Blood and mixed organs fell to the ground. The entire scene fell into an eerie silence. Such violence and brutal scene deeply shocked everyone present. Those were the Yang family's Lin families, renowned blood kill commanders. Each of them was a powerful expert who could shake an entire region. Yet now they were so easily blasted apart by someone. This immense contrast left everyone speechless. Wanqiu was also shocked by this scene, looking at you carefully protecting little Grass. The accumulated grievances of 3 years seemed to melt away a little. The family of 3 seemed to. Xiao family. Ma family. Aren't you going to act yet? Linshan had a grim expression. He angrily shouted at the Xiao family, Ma family, and other 5 great aristocratic families. The Xiao family and Ma family glared, full of anger. Are you really bullying our Yang family? Do you truly think we have no one? Our 6 great Yang family clans have always been united. If you dare to do this, then you are our enemy. However, just as the 5 great Yang family clans successively declared, and were sharpening their knives, you merely smiled disdainfully. Immediately after, you stomped your foot heavily on the ground. Boom! A loud bang. The ground seemed to have experienced a catastrophe. Like an earthquake, collapsing and sinking. For a moment, the members of the various Yang family clans were thrown into disarray. One after another fell to the ground. Cracks, bottomless, appeared one after another, seemingly leading to the 9 nether hells. Seeing this scene, the clans who had just expressed their stance suddenly were like ducks whose throats had been choked. Their voices abruptly stopped. Sorry, I forgot I have another important meeting to attend. The Xiao family head finished speaking, scrambled up, and fled in a panic. The Ma family head also quickly chased in the direction of the Xiao family head. Right, I also have a meeting to attend. The other 3 families each found excuses and fled frantically. Lin Cheng's face turned ashen, and he cursed loudly. You bunch of... But before he could finish speaking, a chilling voice pierced his ears. How do you wish to die? The voice was like a bone-chilling wind from the Arctic ice plains, making his entire body stiffen. Lin Chen stiffly turned his head, with a gaze like a deathly fog, staring at Lin Chen. Lin Chen, overwhelmed with fear and anger, shrieked hysterically. Don't get cocky. Do you think you can kill me? I still have a backer. The Lin family. Behind me is Grandmaster Yunshan. He'll be back soon. When he comes, your whole family will die. Hearing Grandmaster Yunshan, Li Wanqiu's pretty face turned pale, and she shouted at you. Quickly, take little grass and leave. I know that Yunshan person, he's truly terrifying. You're no match for him. Her beautiful eyes were filled with fear. Run quickly, take little grass and leave. I'll cover your retreat. Li Wanqiu was extremely anxious, but you remained motionless. Your gaze gently rested on Li Wanqiu and little grass, and you slowly said, from now on, no one can harm you. All. Those who bullied you, I will. Make them pay the price one by one. Just then, a wild laugh came from afar. The sound was like thunder. What big talk? If I don't make you confess today, then my name isn't Yun. The voice contained terrifying killing intent and disdain. Everyone looked at your family of 3 with eyes filled with deep pity and regret. Grandmaster Yunshan is here. You're all dead. Along with the wild laughter, a group of fierce wolf-like men rushed into the Lin family's villa. These people, one by one, were fierce like wolves and tigers with tall and straight figures, exuding a sharp aura. Every single one of them seemed like a heavy tank charging in a group. Hearing the neat and uniform footsteps, Li Wanqiu's pretty face grew even paler. This group was definitely well-trained elite, enough to take on 10 by 1. Among them, a proud man in a battle robe. Every step he took seemed to land on their hearts, making almost everyone feel suffocated. He was Grandmaster Yunshan, whose martial prowess was extraordinary. A grandmaster capable of suppressing an entire sect by himself. Seeing Yunshan arrive, Lin Cheng, like a fawning dog, ran forward. Grandmaster Yunshan, you've come. However, Yunshan didn't even spare Lin Cheng a glance. His gaze swept over you, and a cold sneer and mockery appeared on his face. A mere prisoner, yet so arrogant. I'll give you 2 choices. First, obediently kneel, apologize, confess your crimes, and surrender. Second, Yunshan's gaze provocatively swept over you and Li Wanqiu, and he said disdainfully. The drawn-out word, die, echoed, powerful and domineering. Lin Chen snapped out of his embarrassment, excitedly, looking at you. Ha ha ha, with Grandmaster Yunshan making a move, your family of 3 is doomed. Everyone believed that Grandmaster Yunshan was absolutely not someone ordinary people could stop. Li Wanqiu was even more shaky, holding little grass. Tears streamed down her cheeks. Dying wasn't important, but little grass. Was still so young. However, just at this moment, you moved. With a light step, you suddenly crossed a distance of over 10 meters. You arrived before Grandmaster Yunshan. Grandmaster, the next second you suddenly raised a hand. Directly a slap. Slammed it down fiercely. Grandmaster Yunshan's pupils shrank, and he instantly reacted, throwing a punch. However, Yunshan's proud iron fist, under your palm, seemed like tofu. With a crunch, it shattered. A scream had not yet escaped. when the incomparably violent slap fiercely landed on Yunshan's right cheek. With a whoosh, Yunshan was forcefully sent flying by this terrifying slap. His head slammed into the ground. Instantly, the floorboards on the ground shattered inch by inch. In an instant, the entire scene fell into a deathly silence. A cold current, as if from the Arctic ice plains, swept across the entire scene. Everyone was stunned, their eyes filled with deep shock and disbelief. This is a Grandmaster. The world's top powerhouse was now actually slapped to the ground by someone. How is this possible? This is impossible. Grandmaster Yunshan was actually defeated by a single slap. An illusion, it must be an illusion. How could that prisoner defeat Grandmaster Yunshan? The scene just now shocked everyone's eyes, especially Lin Chang and the others. Their eyeballs were practically popping out. Wanqiu covered her small mouth, her face full of disbelief. The man who defiled her back then was actually so powerful. However, you paid no attention to the stunned onlookers. Instead, your gaze was cold as you looked at Lin Chang. You must die too. With a thud, Lin Chang immediately knelt on the ground, his face ashen as death. Even Grandmaster Yunshan couldn't withstand a single move from this demon. Then the only option was to kneel and surrender. Sir, I was wrong. Lin Chang was wrong. I shouldn't have harmed your woman and child. I am willing to use all of the Lin family's assets to exchange for you to spare our lives. Bang. 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 Lin Chang frantically kowtowed. The others, hearing this, all gasped in cold air. However, your gaze swept over the rusty, stained forehead and saw Wanqiu and Xiao's dirty clothes. You said silently, "What are the mere assets of the Lin family worth?" Lin Chang suddenly looked up, not even caring about the fresh blood on his forehead. He looked at you in terror, about to beg for mercy again. You looked down at him with a cold gaze. You bullied my woman and daughter. You can only die, just as you were about to crush the Lin family and unleash a massacre. The Zhang family. It was the Zhang family from Modu who ordered me to abuse them. Lin Chang seemed to remember something and desperately shouted. If you dare kill me, the Zhang family will definitely not let you off. That is Modu's top aristocratic family, with countless grandmasters, and even a war god. How dare you touch me? However, you still looked at Lin Chang with an aggressive gaze, and said domineeringly, "Don't worry. They will soon come down to join you. Everyone who bullied them must die." As soon as your voice fell, you stomped down hard, and bright red blood seeped out. Lin Chang died instantly. Immediately after, Lin Fenglu was also killed by you. From then on, the Lin family was annihilated. At this moment, you noticed Yunshan and others preparing to sneak away. You said coldly, "And you, Grandmaster Yunshan?" His face instantly turned pale. I am a Grandmaster of Xianxia." You sneered, your eyes chilling. "Black Dragon, answer the phone." At this moment, the warden, with a look of panic, handed a phone to you. Hearing this, your brows furrowed. It turned out to be Elder Long of Xianxia, who 3 years ago sent you into the dragon's confinement prison. An old, authoritative voice came from the phone. "Black Dragon, stop. You have been specially pardoned. You don't need to return to Dragon's confinement prison. Moreover, I hope you can become Xianxia's protector war god." The warden next to you, hearing these words, was utterly terrified. The Hell Black Dragon, who killed people like cutting hemp, was actually going to become Xianxia's protector war god. However, you refused, not at all moved by the position of Xianxia's protector war god. Elder Long's voice came again. I've heard about your situation. If you were still a person with no attachments before, this position truly wouldn't be necessary. But now you have a woman and a daughter. Even if you don't think for yourself, you must think for them. After a moment of contemplation, you looked at the frail Wanqiu and the dirty Xiao, and finally agreed. You hung up the phone and, with a gaze as cold as ice, swept over those Lin family members who had once bullied Wanqiu and Xiao. Instantly, shrill screams rose and fell, echoing throughout the Lin family villa. A moment later, you carried Wanqiu on your back, holding Xiao, and strode away. Meanwhile, in Modu, the head of the top aristocratic Zhang family, Zhang Heng, roared in furious rage. What? The Lin family was actually annihilated. And by that bitch Wanqiu's wild man, back then, the Zhang family and the Li family were to be united in marriage, about to be wed. But it was discovered that Wanqiu had been defiled, her combat strength soaked and her belly grown. This caused the Zhang family to lose all face and be subjected to endless ridicule. As a top aristocratic family, how could the Zhang family tolerate such a thing? They immediately suppressed the Li family, and even forced Wanqiu to become a beggar, living by scavenging trash. Now, Wanqiu dared to annihilate the Lin family. Zhang Tianfang, the intended groom from back then, was even more furious. 3 years. I waited for you for 3 years. That bitch, with her daughter, was begging, and you didn't appear. Now you finally can't hold back. If that's the case, then all 3 of you must reunite in the underworld. To kill Wanqiu was to humiliate him and draw out that adulterer. Now that the adulterer had appeared, the bait was no longer needed. Zhang Tianfang's eyes were filled with hysterical madness. Wait for the order to start the roundup. Kill them all, no exceptions. 3 days from now is my father's 60th birthday. I hope you can make that fellow's head into a gift. At the same time, the 3 of you arrived at the place where Wanqiu lived. Seeing their dwelling, your whole body trembled. 3 years ago, when you were surrounded and attacked by thousands of powerhouses, you didn't even bat an eyelid. But now, your eyes were bloodshot, and your fists were clenched tight. Because Wanqiu and Xiao's dwelling place was actually a collapsed bridge underpass. Cold winds howled, and a foul stench assailed them. There was also a garbage dump nearby. How can you live here? You asked Wanqiu, filled with pain. Wanqiu gently stroked Xiao's head. 3 years ago, I was pregnant with your child. Under pressure from Modu's Zhang family, I was driven out of the Li family. I lost my Grandmaster's power. I originally wanted to find a job to support myself in Xiao, but every company I went to would kick me out. When I tried to rent a house, I was also driven out. Later, a landlord secretly told me that due to pressure from the Zhang family, no one dared to rent me a house, and I couldn't find a job. I could only take Xiao and hide in the bridge underpass, living by scavenging trash. Wanqiu's gaze fell on the bridge underpass. Nearby, pungent paint had been splashed, with many insulting words written on it. Her body swayed precariously. She said sorrowfully, "Even the bridge underpass. Every now and then, people would force us out, smashing the food and things we collected." You let out a painful roar, emitting a terrifying aura. As the hell-black dragon, possessing top-tier power and countless talents, his woman and daughter were living in a place only stray dogs would inhabit. At this moment, Xiao struggled down from you and crawled into the bridge underpass, taking out a cold potato and stuffing it into your hand. "Daddy, eat this. It's delicious." Xiao loves it the most. Seeing your daughter's innocent smile and cold little hands, you froze. Xiao, do you usually eat this? Xiao nodded happily. Then she took a bite of the cold, raw potato, and happily started singing. No flower scent. No tall trees. I am a little grass nobody knows. Never lonely. Never troubled. The tender child's voice echoed in the air. Tears of blood streamed from your eyes. Daddy. Daddy. Why are you crying? Xiao also cried. She didn't want to lose Daddy again. It's okay. You wiped away your tears, looking at Xiao and Wanqiu with a determined gaze. From now on, no one will ever bully you again. You will also live a life like that in a palace. I, Tianfang, swear. Daddy, what does a palace look like? You'll know when Daddy takes you there. It must be a very, very big bridge underpass. Watching you and your daughter Xiao happily talk. Wanqiu's gaze softened considerably. She seemed to let out her last breath, then could no longer hold back. With a "peft," bright red blood spurted from her mouth. Your face changed drastically. You quickly caught the falling Wanqiu. After examination, you discovered that she had long since exhausted her vitality. Xiao cried out and rushed to hug Wanqiu's arm. Wanqiu's beautiful face was as pale as paper, without a trace of color. Her gaze, full of complexity, turned to you. For 3 years, I've dreamt countless times of killing you, because you destroyed everything I had. Now I no longer hate. I don't have the strength to hate you anymore. After I'm gone, you must take good care of Xiao. His words were unfinished as his hand weakly dropped, slowly closing his eyes. No! You looked up at the sky, letting out a helpless yet utterly grief-stricken roar. Blood tears streamed endlessly from your eyes. Am I, Tianfang, destined to be alone my entire life? You were abandoned by your parents as a child, left in a dump to fight with stray dogs and cats for food. Countless times you were covered in wounds. Later, you met that person. That person told you that if you followed him, you would have no worries about food or clothing. From then on, you joined that organization and became an assassin, writing the legends of the underground world. Now, after finally having a wife and child, you're forced to watch them slip away again. No. Absolutely not. You won't die. I've learned medical arts. I can save you. I can save you. Don't give up. I will save you. You carried Wanqiu on your back, picked up Xiao, and frantically ran towards the nearest hospitals and clinics. However, after running to several clinics and pharmacies, you were all rejected. Sorry, sir. Our pharmacy is not open today. The injuries are too severe. Our clinic cannot treat them. You should go to a big hospital. Finally, you arrived at Yang's Third People's Hospital. The staff at the registration desk glanced at the unconscious Wanqiu and flatly refused. Apologies, sir, you don't have identification. We can't register you. You shouted in desperation. But the staff member disdainfully glanced at you and coldly said, Apologies. These are the hospital's rules. The staff member's peripheral vision caught the computer screen, where Wanqiu's photo was prominently displayed. He saw you were still arguing and shouted to the security guards. Quickly. Drag them out. Don't disturb other patients. Seeing 2 security guards approaching, you could no longer hold back. With a fierce punch, you shattered the window and the iron bars, then turned the staff member's computer around. Seeing Wanqiu's photo on it, you instantly understood that the Zhang family had issued a warning. The entire Yang clan's hospitals dared not admit you. You coldly stared at the staff member, declaring, If you don't treat her, all of you will die today. In an instant, an overwhelming aura of malevolence swept from your body, causing everyone around to stiffen instantly, their scalps tingling. It was as if a terrifying beast had fixed its gaze upon them. The medical staff panicked, quickly sending Li Wanqiu into the operating room. For drip. The patient's injuries are very severe. O-type blood bag. You finally breathed a sigh of relief, hugging Xiao tightly in your arms. Daddy. Will mommy be alright? Xiao bit her lip, a glimmer of tears in her eyes. But she was sensible enough not to cry or scream loudly. No. Daddy promises. You comforted your daughter. An old doctor sighed helplessly. The patient's injuries are too severe, and she has many chronic illnesses. I'm afraid it will be very difficult to save her. You should prepare yourselves mentally. Upon hearing this, 2 streams of clear tears flowed down Xiao's face. You looked coldly at the old doctor, stating in a deep voice, I will cure her, no matter what. Then you placed Xiao on the ground. Xiao, you stay here with mommy. I'll go find some herbs. Daddy will definitely cure mommy. Daddy. Pinky promise? Pinky promise. You smiled and made a pinky promise with Xiao. Then you turned and quickly left. Not long after, you returned with several bags of herbs and rushed into the ward. However, you found that both Li Wanqiu and Xiao were gone. The ward was in a state of disarray. Your smile instantly froze. An overwhelming aura of malevolence erupted from you. Tell me, where are my wife and daughter? A trembling figure crawled out from the corner. It was the old doctor from before. At this moment, he was utterly terrified. Just now, a group of fierce and evil-looking people rushed in and snatched your daughter and wife. They also left a note telling you to find them there. You unfolded the note. If you want your wife and child to live, come to the abandoned power plant north of Yang City at 4:30 p.m. You know the cost of being late. You fiercely clenched the small note, turned, and rushed outside. Your expression was filled with intense violence and madness. Inside the abandoned power plant north of Yang City, Li Wanqiu lay on the cold ground, an oxygen mask covering her mouth, and 4 drip needles still in her wrist, connected to a hanging bottle. Xiao watched her mother from the side with worried eyes, biting her lip to keep herself from crying out loud and disturbing her mother. Beside them stood 18 figures, dressed in identical black clothes. Each of them had broad shoulders and a powerful build, exuding a formidable and domineering aura. The one leading them, a black-clad figure, was even more powerfully shocking. Just then, the leader of the black-clad figures suddenly pulled out a phone from his waist and respectfully said, Young master, we've captured that bitch and her daughter. We've also informed that wild man. He'll come here at 4:30 p.m. to walk into our trap. Good. Very good. The man, watching through the video, had cold, sinister eyes, and fiercely scanned Li Wanqiu and Xiao on the ground. This person was none other than Li Wanqiu's former fiancé, Zhang Tianfang. Bitch, you want a family reunion? Dream on. Go reunite in hell. Zhang Long, wake her up. Yes, young master. Zhang Long coldly looked at the pale-faced Li Wanqiu. With a fierce slap, Li Wanqiu's face immediately showed a blood-red handprint. She let out a painful sound. Mommy! Xiao could no longer hold back her tears and rushed to Li Wanqiu's side. Looking at her daughter, and those black-clad figures with their formidable aura, as well as Zhang Tianfang on the video call, Li Wanqiu's heart sank. Ha ha ha! Bitch. Today, everything will finally be settled. Zhang Tianfang stared at Li Wanqiu with a ferocious gaze. The more he liked her back then, the more he resented her now. As the successor of the Xianxia family, his fiancée had actually cuckolded him, making him the laughingstock of the Xianxia circles in the Demon City. How could he not resent her? Li Wanqiu's face was ashen. She struggled to speak to Zhang Tianfang. Xiao is innocent. She's only 2 years old. Please let her go, okay? No matter how you torment me, I'll gladly accept it. Just let her go. Heh. Not just you, your daughter, and that wild man. All of you will die today. I'll send your family of 3 to reunite in hell. You should thank me. Zhang Tianfang laughed hysterically. Li Wanqiu, look at who's around you. Li Wanqiu struggled to look around. In an instant, her pupils constricted, her eyes filled with shock and terror. The Zhang family's 18 black-clad guards. They have been dispatched. Wanqiu, of course, knew how terrifying the Zhang family's 18 black-clad guards were. Each of them was a top-tier expert. The 18 of them, working together, had once killed several grandmasters. Their methods were cruel, and they particularly enjoyed torturing and killing. Back then, there was a family in Demon City that was an enemy of the Zhang family. The 18 black-clad guards stormed in during the night, killing everyone. Even infants a few months old were brutally thrown to their deaths. Thinking of this, Wanqiu's eyes filled with endless despair. She wasn't afraid of death, but her daughter falling into the hands of these villains would likely be worse than death. Zhang Tianfang looked at Wanqiu's ashen face, feeling even more delighted. He said to Zhang Long, "I don't care how you deal with them. I just want their heads to appear punctually at my father's birthday banquet 3 days from now. Because that is my gift to my father." "Young master, rest assured. 3 days from now, the gift will arrive on time." Zhang Long's eyes gleamed with a cruel and sinister smile. Zhang Tianfang nodded in satisfaction and ended the call. At this moment, a black-clad figure walked up to Zhang Long. "Big brother, this bitch's breath is weak. Her life force is depleted. She should have died half an hour ago. Yet now she's still alive." Zhang Long glanced at Xiao and sneered. "It seems she's waiting for that wild man." Wanqiu looked sadly at her daughter. "Xiao, that person, after all, still couldn't keep his promise to protect you. Could he?" However, just then, a familiar voice rang out. "Sorry, I'm late." Your eyes were filled with her graceful figure, looking at Wanqiu and Xiao. Then, your gaze turned coldly towards Zhang Long and the others. "Are you ready to die?" This voice was colder than the bone-chilling winds of the Arctic ice plains. However, Zhang Long and the others became excited. This young master's fated target to kill has finally appeared. As long as we kill him, young master will surely reward us handsomely. Thinking of this, Zhang Long's eyes filled with ferocity. He then ripped off the oxygen mask from Wanqiu's face, brutally pulled out the 4-needle, leaving her bleeding profusely. Wanqiu couldn't even scream, having lost all strength. Zhang Long stared at you with a cruel smile. This bitch's life force has long since withered, but she held on until now, waiting for you to come and save her daughter. No! She's ultimately going to be disappointed. The 3 of you, family, will all reunite in hell today." Looking at Wanqiu, Xiao, and the blood-stained needle, a chilling murderous glint shot from your eyes. "You deserve to die." Boom! A terrifying killing intent like a Category 12 hurricane swept forth. The surrounding temperature plummeted instantly. The hell-black dragon had awakened. Facing the terrifying, sky-high killing intent, the 18 black-clad guards' faces drastically changed. Especially Zhang Long. His pupils were filled with shock and disbelief. As a black-clad guard of the Zhang family, Zhang Long had massacred hundreds, even thousands, of people. Yet, his own killing intent, compared to this man, the young master's most hated enemy, was like a firefly next to a giant searchlight. This is at least the terrifying killing intent of someone who has killed tens of thousands. Who exactly is he? An ominous feeling suddenly surged in Zhang Long's heart. The 17 other black-clad guards trembled, their eyes filled with fear. At this moment you moved. Thump, thump, thump. Each step landed, leaving a deep footprint on the hard concrete floor. A terrifying aura, like that of a Tyrannosaurus Rex, emanated from your entire body. 30 meters, 20 meters, 10 meters, getting closer and closer. The renowned 18 black-clad guards of the Zhang family were actually unable to move under your aura and murderous intent. Watching you about to enter the 5-meter range, Zhang Long bit his lip fiercely. Young master has ordered. 3 days from now is family head Zhang Hengbao's 60th birthday. We must present the heads of these 3 as a gift. Black-clad guards. Attack! Zhang Long roared, his eyes filled with hysterical savagery and malice. The 18 black-clad guards exchanged glances, their eyes filled with endless madness. Our Zhang family rules are strict. If we cannot complete young master's order, they only have a dead end. Even their families will be implicated. Just then, you suddenly took a step forward, your gaze cold as you stared directly at the Zhang family's black-clad guards. 18 mere ants. Come forward and die. This single sentence completely enraged Zhang Long and the others. The 18 of them had once defeated a war god. Yet now they were called ants? You're asking for death. Draw your swords. Zhang Long roared in anger, and the black-clad guards simultaneously drew their long swords. Their speed was like lightning. In an instant you were enveloped by figures from all directions. A storm of saber gleams slashed wildly towards you. The 18, with one strike, aimed for a fatal blow. The air was sliced by these 18 saber gleams, emitting a mournful hum. Terrifying saber intent rushed at your face. Wanqiu's face instantly turned pale upon seeing this scene. Even if she were completely unharmed, with her history as a war god, facing such an impenetrable net of blades would be difficult to resist. No matter how powerful Tianfang is, he can't possibly face 18 black-clad guards combined full-force attack. However, just as Wanqiu was worrying, your face showed not a trace of fear or unease. A hint of disdain even curved at the corner of your lips. Not only did you not dodge, but instead, you charged directly into that terrifying storm of blades. You slapped out fiercely with one palm. It's over. Wanqiu's heart plummeted to the bottom, and she closed her eyes in despair. She hadn't expected you to actually use your flesh and blood body to contend with these 18 refined long blades. It's completely like an egg hitting a rock. Ha 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 ha. Foolish fellow, die. Zhang Long and the others were ecstatic. This kid is so arrogant and foolish, charging head-on into these 18 blades. Even a war god expert would be dead for sure. Boom! The 18 long blades violently collided with your flesh and blood body. The air exploded with a deafening roar. The next moment, something nobody could have imagined happened. The 18 long blades were actually caught between your fingertips. Unable to move. What? Zhang Long and the others were utterly stunned. 18 men's full-force slash was blocked by his bare hand? How is this possible? Nothing more than this. Your eyes revealed deep disdain and mockery. Back then, you were besieged by dozens of war gods and thousands of grandmasters. What is a lineup like this now? Not good. Zhang Long caught sight of your chilling gaze. His heart skipped a beat. He tried to pull back his long blade, but it was too late. You suddenly twisted, and in an instant, a massive force struck. The 18 black-clad guards' long blades flew directly out of their hands. Your gaze was cold, as you lunged towards the black-clad guards. A storm of attacks swept forth. Bang, bang, bang. Debris flew across the ground of the abandoned thermal power plant, and dust rose everywhere. Horrifying screams echoed ceaselessly. Whoosh! Wanqiu suddenly opened her eyes, looking over with a sense of unwillingness, because she heard the screams of more than one person. But with just one look, Wanqiu was completely stunned. You stood there, completely unharmed, your clothes not even torn, like a straight, upright spear standing proudly against the sky. The 18 Zhang family black-clad guards, one by one, lay on the ground with broken limbs, wailing incessantly. How is this possible? Wanqiu thought she was seeing an illusion, but after blinking several times, she realized it was actually true. Her pale lips trembled, her expression filled with endless shock and terror. Sensing Wanqiu's gaze, your expression softened, and you smiled, shielding Xiao's ears and eyes. I'll take care of this quickly. Watching you walk towards a long blade, Wanqiu's gaze showed understanding. She quickly covered Xiao's ears and eyes. Zhang Long, watching you approach with a chilling expression, dragging the long blade, was filled with endless fear and regret. The wild man young master told us to deal with is actually so powerful. If I had known this earlier, even if it meant defecting, Zhang Long wouldn't have wanted to come here to die. However, now it was all too late. You looked down at Zhang Long with cold eyes and said indifferently, "Weren't you planning to use the heads of my family of 3 as a grand birthday gift for Zhang Hengbao? Since that's the case, I also plan to send him a gift." As your voice fell, the long blade in your hand swished down, and dazzling blood splattered across the ground, and the 17 black-clad guards' agonizing screams abruptly ceased. After doing all this, you walked towards Wanqiu. First, you checked her condition. "I'll stop the bleeding and keep you alive. Don't give up. I've already found the herbs. I'll treat you once we reach a safe place." Wanqiu's physical condition was extremely poor. Long-term harsh living conditions, coupled with previous abuse and blood loss, had left her almost at death's door. Wanqiu stroked her daughter's head, forcing a warm smile onto her face. "Don't worry, I'm still reluctant to leave Xiao. I won't die so easily." Your gaze was complex as you looked at her. This great woman endured so much for her daughter. "But from now on, you'll have me." Immediately, you took out a long-unused phone from your pocket. You dialed a number that hadn't been called in 3 years. At the same time, somewhere beneath the eaves, a steep mountain peak over 1,000 meters high, its body had been hollowed out, forged into an impregnable base. At this moment, in the conference room of this mysterious base, a group of black-clad figures were holding a meeting. A muscular, bald man with bulging muscles slammed his fist onto the table. "It's been 3 years. Where on earth has the boss been for 3 years? We've searched all over the world, but found no trace of the boss. Could he really be gone? Nonsense. How could the boss die? Who could kill him? Baldy, you could die 100 times, and the boss still wouldn't die." Opposite, a black-clad man stood up and roared furiously. Baldy clutched his head, his expression one of painful struggle. He also didn't believe the boss would die. But for 3 years, the boss had never appeared. If he wasn't dead, how could he not contact his brothers? "Baldy, Aries, stop arguing. Today, we are here to discuss how to find the boss. Not for you to quarrel." Chunshang, the black-clad strategist leading them, said. Aries snorted coldly. Baldy also stopped losing his temper. Ding Lingling was just at the military meeting, preparing to continue speaking about something, when the phone suddenly rang. The leader of the black-clad men frowned slightly. "Didn't we agree no interruptions?" However, when he picked up his phone and saw the number he had longed for day and night, he froze. Xuanji suddenly stood up. A towering aura erupted. In an instant, it overturned the entire table. "Ghost Zhuge, what's wrong? Are the enemies here?" For a moment, everyone was in an uproar. The strategist, in their organization, had always been calm and collected, with adaptable strategies. Now, after answering a phone call, he was so agitated. "Boss! It's the boss's call." Ghost Zhuge's lips trembled with excitement. Boom! In an instant, a terrifying aura swept out. Cracks appeared in the conference room, forged from Taihe gold. But no one paid attention to that. Everyone looked at Ghost Zhuge excitedly. "What the hell are you dawdling for? Answer the phone quickly." All right. Ghost Zhuge wiped away his tears and answered the call. "Boss, is that you?" At this moment, the entire conference room was utterly silent. These terrifying assassins of the underworld, who struck fear into all who heard of them, the assassins, were now like elementary school students eagerly awaiting a little red flower, staring intently at the phone in Ghost Juga's hand. "It's me." The familiar voice came through. The conference room instantly erupted. "Boss! The boss is back. Boss! You're finally back. Baldy missed you terribly." Immediately after, you told them about the events of 3 years ago, and informed everyone that you were at the Yang Corporation. Baldy and the others, upon receiving the news, immediately set off towards the Yang Corporation. After hanging up the phone, you picked up your daughter Xiao, whose small face was pale, and carried Li Wanqiu on your back. You left the abandoned thermal power plant, filled with the smell of blood. In your arms, Xiao's tiny body trembled. "Daddy! Daddy! Where are we going now?" "Daddy is taking you and Mommy to a very, very good place. To find a home. Daddy! People will chase me away from other places. Xiao wants to go back to the bridge underpass." Looking at Xiao's timid gaze, you narrowed your eyes and said softly, "From now on, no one will ever dare to chase you away again. No matter who they are." The family of 3 walked on the main road of the North District. Vehicles passed by in an endless stream. You spoke to Xiao, feeling uncomfortable. Forcefully, you told Li Wanqiu not to fall asleep. This was a Mercedes-Benz. The young man in the driver's seat of the G-Wagon saw what was ahead. His pupils instantly constricted. "Oh no, someone's ahead." A rich young master next to him said disdainfully, "He dares to stand in the middle of the road? He's asking for death. What if we hit him? With all my uncle's connections, I'm not afraid of this." The other young people also chimed in. "Chun Lu. Run him over." Chun Lu, in the driver's seat, had a flash of anger in his eyes. He cursed loudly. "Damn stinking beggar. I'll run you over." At this moment you finally noticed the speeding Mercedes-Benz, but for a moment you didn't react. The next second you quickly pulled the 2 people, and with a sudden move, avoided being hit by the car. Chun Lu also slammed on the brakes. The tires screeched, leaving 2 long white marks. For a moment there was chaos. 20 centimeters. Only 20 centimeters separated the Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon from hitting them. The rich young masters reacted, flying into a rage. They pushed open the car doors, cursing furiously. "Are you Fing looking for death? Chun Lu, you should have just run him over. I want to kill him." However, your expression was indifferent. You walked over and said calmly, "I'm not looking for death. I want to buy a car. I'm in a hurry to save someone." Then you self-importantly placed Xiao and Li Wanqiu into the Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon. Seeing this scene, the rich young masters were stunned. When they reacted, they were both shocked and furious. Chun Lu, who was leading them, looked at the dirty Xiao and Li Wanqiu lying in his beloved car. He was so angry his whole body trembled. You glanced at him and said lightly, "I'll buy this car for double the price." The several rich young masters heard this and laughed so hard they couldn't stand straight. "Ha ha ha! That's hilarious. Your family of 3, altogether, don't even have a few million, yet you want to buy young Master Chen's Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon? A family of beggars actually dares to act crazy and stage a car accident. Do you know how much this limited edition Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon costs?" Chun Lu, his eyes filled with anger, scanned the 2 dirty figures in the car. Just as he was about to scold them, a black gold bank card suddenly shot into his mouth, fitting perfectly. At the same time, a calm voice entered his ear. "This is a black gold card issued by the International Bank. It contains 1 billion Xianxia coins. The password is 88. It can buy hundreds of Mercedes-Benz G-Wagons." Chun Lu was about to get angry, but hearing your words, his pupils constricted. He had once seen this kind of black gold card on a powerful figure. How could this beggar-like fellow have one? It must be fake. Chun Lu sneered after hearing this. "You're trying to fool me with a fake? Take it and get lost or die." Then, with a furious roar from you, terrifying killing intent swept forth. In an instant, those pampered rich young masters in the greenhouse paled with fright. They actually directly collapsed onto the ground. You coldly glanced at the group, then stepped into the driver's seat and drove the Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon, roaring away. In the Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon, Xiao happily looked around. She had never sat in such a beautiful place. She wanted to touch the luxurious decorations, but timidly pulled her hand back. Your eyes softened, and you said gently, Xiao, touch it if you want. It's okay. Daddy is so good. Xiao's face bloomed with a happy smile. You chuckled softly. Next, Daddy will take you to live in a big house. As your words fell, you suddenly crashed through the gate of a luxury villa and stopped on the lawn. At this moment, a richly dressed young master, surrounded by many bodyguards, was playing golf. Seeing this scene, everyone was stunned. The young master's jaw almost dropped. When he reacted, his face turned gloomy. Go see which bastard dares to come here looking for death. In an instant, dozens of burly bodyguards surrounded the Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon. The young master picked up a golf club, glared viciously at the car, and roared, "Get out!" Click! With a click, the car door opened. You slowly stepped out, facing the encirclement of so many bodyguards. Your expression was calm. You said blandly to the young master, "I want to buy your villa." Huh? The young master, who was originally arrogant, heard these words and immediately froze. Then he burst out laughing. Do you know who I am? Do you know how much this villa costs? The bodyguards chimed in with flattery. Our young master is from the Yang family, one of the 10 great prominent families, young Master Xiao. This Emerald Manor luxury villa cost hundreds of millions, plus the land value. It's worth 1 billion Xianxia coins. I'll give you 10 times that. You interrupted the bodyguard's flattery. 10 times? Just with you? Young Master Xiao Yunshan heard this and scoffed. You're hilarious. Your broken Mercedes-Benz doesn't even rank in my villa. Want to buy Emerald Manor? Dream on. You glanced blandly at Xiao Yunshan, flicked your finger, and a black gold card flew into Xiao Yunshan's hand. 10 billion Xianxia coins. If 10 times isn't enough, come find me again. Xiao Yunshan frowned, looked at the black gold card, then at your worn-out clothes, and immediately sneered disdainfully. Kid, are you messing with me? Xiao Yunshan's gaze was chillingly cold as he looked at the eyes filled with ferocity and brutality. Do you know the price of deceiving me? I will stuff your family of 3 into an iron cage and make you suffer endless torment. Little grass, don't go back into the cage. Hearing Xiao Yunshan's sinister words, Little Grass recalled terrifying memories. The calm expression she had just moments ago instantly exploded. With a loud slap, a palm strike sent Xiao Yunshan flying. In an instant, Xiao Yunshan was like a cannonball, knocking over several bodyguards. His face was swollen like a pig's trot. Xiao Yunshan glared furiously, but before he could finish his words, a tooth, stained with blood and saliva, fell out. Xiao Yunshan was utterly enraged and roared at the bodyguards. What are you standing around for? Go. Kill him. I'll take responsibility. Dozens of elite bodyguards, as if injected with chicken blood, furiously lunged at you. These bodyguards were one by one burly and strong, especially when they charged forward, their momentum terrifying. Yet, your eyes didn't even flicker. You refused the toast and chose the penalty drink. You moved your feet and charged forward fiercely. In an instant, you were like a tiger among a flock of sheep, unstoppable. 1, 2, 3. Xiao Yunshan's elite bodyguards were like tofu dregs, defeated by you one by one. In just 10 seconds, dozens of Xiao family bodyguards were unable to stand. Seeing this scene, Xiao Yunshan was dumbfounded. You. Don't you dare touch me. I am the eldest young master of the Xiao family, the future family head. Seeing you approaching step by step, Zhao Liangshan threatened, outwardly fierce but inwardly timid. You smiled disdainfully. You lifted your foot, about to step down. The Xiao family. Aren't they the ones who previously, during the Lin family incident, shamefully ran away? The Xiao family? You haven't settled scores with them yet. Just then a phone rang. As Zhao Liangshan despaired, a phone rang. He quickly pulled out his phone. Seeing the familiar number, he was overjoyed. Dad! Someone hit me. Quickly! Save me. What? You wait there. I'm near the North District. I'll bring people over immediately. After hanging up, the despair on Zhao Liangshan's face vanished. He looked at you triumphantly. My dad, Zhao Tianji, has brought people. He won't let you go. You're dead. Zhao family head. Zhao Tianji? If I remember correctly, he disgracefully ran away during the Lin family incident. You looked coldly at Zhao Liangshan. Your icy voice entered his ears. Even if Zhao Tianji comes, he'll have to kneel before me. What? My dad has to kneel before you too. What the hell do you think you are? Zhao Liangshan, exasperated, shouted at you. You said calmly, you don't seem to understand the situation. Right now, you are under my foot. If I stomp you to death, even your dad wouldn't know who did it. You. After hearing this, Zhao Liangshan instantly trembled all over with fear. However, I really like this emerald manor. It has plenty of sunlight, a lawn, and a garden, suitable for little grass to play and for patients to recuperate. I will wait for a while, but time is limited. Time, in Zhao Liangshan's fear, passed by bit. In less than 10 minutes, with a rumble, the ground began to shake. Suddenly, a voice filled with towering rage boomed. Who dares to touch my son? I'll tear him to pieces. A dignified, middle-aged man strode in forcefully. Behind him were dozens of white-clad attendants, followed by 100 fierce white-clad guards from Lingnan, who was none other than the Xiao family head, Zhao Tianji. He had just been scared away from the Lin family's side, losing face. At this moment, hearing that someone dared to hit his second son, his face turned livid. Zhao Liangshan saw his dad, Zhao Tianji, arrive and excitedly jumped up. Dad, it's him, Zhao Tianji. He looked at you with furious rage, but his body suddenly trembled. His face turned pale, and his eyes filled with fear. Dad, my left face is swollen, and a tooth has been knocked out by him. You must catch him and severely torment him. Kill him. Zhao Liangshan was immensely pleased, his words filled with ferocity, seemingly fantasizing about how to torment him. However, before Zhao Liangshan could finish his words, with a slap, Zhao Tianji's palm fiercely landed on his right cheek. You hit the wrong person. I'm your son. You should hit him. Yet, Zhao Tianji's face was extremely grim. He looked at Zhao Liangshan, who looked foolish, and then with a furious storm of slaps, he hit him hundreds of times. Zhao Liangshan's face instantly swelled up like a pig's snout, and half his teeth fell out. He looked at Zhao Tianji, full of confusion and pain. Even the bodyguards protecting him were stunned. The family head actually hit his own son. However, that wasn't the end of it. Zhao Tianji quickly walked up to you. With a thud, he knelt down, a fawning smile on his face. If you fancy this Emerald Manor villa, it is our Xiao family's honor. How could we possibly ask for money? We'll give it to you directly. If you need anything, just tell us directly. We'll provide everything. Silence. A deathly silence. Seeing Zhao Tianji kneeling before you, and fawningly offering the villa, everyone was dumbfounded. Zhao Liangshan and the bodyguards were all stunned. What on earth is going on? Zhao Tianji looked at you, his face calm, but his body trembled uncontrollably. He roared at Zhao Liangshan. You little beast! Why aren't you kneeling down and apologizing? Do you want to end up like the Lin family? Hearing this, Zhao Liangshan's calm was shattered as he thought, could it be? Could this person in front of me be? In an instant, Zhao Liangshan's face turned ashen. With a thud, he knelt down. Thump, thump, thump. The sound of kowtows echoed. I'm sorry. I was wrong. Please, Great One, be magnanimous. Forgive me. Your gaze was icy as you watched this scene. Then you glanced at Little Grass, who was peeking out. You said calmly, if others don't offend me, I don't offend others. You then picked up the black gold card and handed it to Zhao Tianji. You said lightly, here's 10 billion silver taels. Take it and swipe it. If it's not enough, find me. Yes. Zhao Tianji breathed a sigh of relief and instructed his subordinates to take the card for swiping. You frowned slightly and said calmly, why did you only swipe 1 yuan? Zhao Tianji said fawningly, this villa is only worth 1 yuan. For you to live here is our honor. We won't bother you anymore. We'll take our leave first. If you need anything, just command us anytime. Handing over a business card, Zhao Tianji stood up and quickly left with his people. You glanced at them, too lazy to say more, and picked up Li Wanqiu and Little Grass, and entered the villa. Little Grass. From now on, this is our home. Looking at the magnificent villa, Little Grass happily bounced and skipped, even rolling around on the Persian carpet. Is this our new home? Is it true that no one will drive us out? We don't have to live under a bridge anymore? After a moment of happiness, Little Grass asked timidly. Your eyes reddened, tears almost falling, and you choked out, you won't live under a bridge anymore. No one can drive you away. Thinking of the previous scenes, your heart was filled with extreme pain. Little Grass didn't doubt your words at all. She held Li Wanqiu's hand and happily said, Mom, Dad is taking us to live in a big house. However, Li Wanqiu had already fainted. Dad, what's wrong with Mom? Her hand is so cold. Little Grass looked on anxiously. Seeing Little Grass, so well-behaved and sensible, gently placed Li Wanqiu's icy hand into her embrace. You felt a pang of heartache. You knelt down and stroked Little Grass's head, saying softly, Mom is too tired. She fell asleep. When she wakes up, everything will be fine. I believe Dad. Little Grass smiled obediently. Next, you picked up Li Wanqiu and placed her on the bed. Tearing open her tattered clothes, you couldn't help but gasp in cold air. Li Wanqiu's delicate body was covered with new and old scars, dense and numerous. It was utterly tragic. Who knew how much torment she had endured? Your eyes darkened, like dark clouds before a storm. Your heart was filled with anger that sought to destroy everything. The Zhang family of Modu. You uttered each word distinctly, and in your eyes flashed a killing intent. Then you mashed herbs into a paste and spread it on Li Wanqiu's wounds. Next, you planted your feet firmly, and wisps of white qi emerged from your body. Your hands glided along the scars. Every time you healed a wound, your face turned pale, as if you had expended immense power. After a full half-hour, you finally let out a light breath. Sweat dripped from your forehead, but your face showed a joyful smile. Looking up, you saw that Li Wanqiu's scars and flesh visibly healing. Lovely. Her face also had a trace of color, still needing a period of quiet recuperation to recover. However, at this very moment, your brows furrowed slightly because you heard some movement outside Emerald Manor. Your daughter Xiao was still outside. You glanced at the sleeping Li Wanqiu, then turned and left for outside. On the ground were arranged exquisite female. The newcomer was none other than Zhao Tianji, head of the Xiao family. Zhao Tianji saw you and immediately bowed slightly. Good filial piety. Mr. Chin. I just thought of Emerald Manor. There was nothing to eat or drink inside, and your wife seemed to be injured. So I bought some clothes, toys, and food. drinks, and tonics. I hope you like them. Daddy. Daddy. This cloth doll is so cute. Xiao was playing with a doll. Seeing you come down, she quickly scurried over. You smiled gently and picked up Xiao. Watching her play happily, you cast a deep glance at Zhao Tianji. I'll remember this favor. Mr. Chen, you're too kind. These aren't worth much. Hearing you were satisfied, Zhao Tianji couldn't stop smiling. You looked at the obsequious Zhao Tianji and said, I will be staying at the Yang family for a while, needing an errand runner. If you are willing, I am willing. With a thud, before you could finish, Zhao Tianji knelt down. Zhao Tianji had long seen that you were incredibly powerful. Such a gleaming, sturdy golden thigh, Zhao Tianji naturally had to cling to. Just then, with a whoosh, a group of black-clad figures suddenly rushed into Emerald Manor. Zhao Tianji's expression changed. These people were definitely not ordinary people. Were they going to harm Mr. Chen? However, the very next scene left Zhao Tianji utterly stunned. The leading black-clad figure stepped forward and knelt directly before you. Ghost Zhuge pays respects to boss. As Ghost Zhuge's words fell, with a whoosh, a large group of people all knelt down. Bald Shura pays respects to boss. Fire God pays respects to boss. What? Zhao Tianji was instantly dumbfounded. He remembered you were just a prisoner. How could you have so many extraordinary and powerful subordinates? Those black-clad figures looked at you with expressions full of fanaticism and worship, as if looking at their very deity. How is this possible? Who exactly is he? Brothers, I'm back. Instantly, a terrifying aura soared into the sky. Thunder rumbled in the sky, as if celebrating this moment. Welcome back, boss. As the black-clad figures roared in unison, a powerful aura, like a Category 12 hurricane, swept over. Zhao Tianji immediately collapsed to the ground. The auras of these black-clad figures, each one was stronger than the Xiao family's female guards. They were all, without exception, Grandmaster-level experts. It was simply incredible. Brothers, rise. The group of black-clad figures immediately stood up, looking at you excitedly. You narrowed your eyes and calmly said, You all go to the Yang family, north to the abandoned thermal power station, and find 18 heads. 3 days later, deliver them to the demon capital, to Zhang Hengbao's birthday banquet, as a birthday gift. Make sure to deliver them on time. Boss. 3 days passed in a flash. The Zhang family was decorated with lanterns and streamers. Red lanterns hung high. Zhang Hengbao's 50th birthday celebration grandly began. One after another, important figures presented lavish gifts to congratulate him. Mr. Wanqiu, chairman of Hengda Group, congratulates Mr. Zhang Hengbao on his 50th birthday, presenting a luxurious resort villa in Donghai. Xianxia, god of war, congratulates Mr. Zhang Hengbao on his 50th birthday, presenting 3 Tianshan snow lotuses. Zhang Hengbao, seated high in the main seat, smiled broadly. My friends, you are too thoughtful. Please be seated. Please be seated. Hearing Li Dan, a gatekeeper of the Zhang family, and other guests exclaimed repeatedly, My heavens! The luxurious resort villa in Donghai sent by Mr. Wang Zhenxiong is worth at least 1 billion yuan, lower currency. Everyone discussed among themselves. The Zhang family's third son, Zhang Tianyuan, walked over with a smile to congratulate his father on his 50th birthday. Your unfilial son presents Tang Bohu's Buzong to congratulate on longevity. As his voice fell, a scroll of traditional painting unfurled. Good. Zhang Hengbao nodded in satisfaction. The surrounding guests also all in unison praised it. Zhang Tianfang saw the scene, his expression calm. He thought to himself, the gift I send will be the one that pleases father most. Immediately, he turned his head and asked his subordinate, Zhang Long and the others, is there any news? Not yet. But young master instructed them to deliver the birthday gift today. So they will definitely arrive on time. Good. Zhang Tianfang nodded in satisfaction and coldly smiled. The person Zhang Tianfang wants to kill has never escaped. He disdainfully glanced at his third brother as the second son. Yet he was made the heir. It was because he understood Zhang Hengbao's thoughts best. Zhang Hengbao's greatest wish was to revitalize the Zhang family and become a top-tier aristocratic family in the region. He wanted his 3 sons to consecutively defeat other families. And Zhang Tianfang had even defeated the female god of war, Wanqiu. But that incident made the Zhang family lose all face. Wanqiu, pregnant before marriage, was ridiculed by the Zhang family countless times. This time, by presenting the heads of Wanqiu's family of 3, he would surely awe everyone and revive the Zhang family's prestige. Father will surely be pleased. The position of family head no one can snatch away from me. At this moment, the eldest brother, Zhang Tianyun, also appeared before everyone, carrying a string of red sandalwood Buddhist beads. These prayer beads seemed to contain a quiet and peaceful power. After seeing them, one's inner self would calm down, feeling refreshed and at peace. The entire hall settled down, revering Zhang Hengbao, who, with an emotional expression, fondled the red sandalwood beads, unable to put them down. Seeing this, everyone repeatedly nodded in agreement with this birthday gift. It was probably considered the best. After young master Zhang Tianyun's gift, everyone's gaze turned to Zhang Tianfang. Now, only he had yet to present his birthday gift. Zhang Tianfang's eyes were filled with triumph. He loudly said to Zhang Hengbao, your son presents a shocking birthday gift. You will definitely like it. My subordinates will deliver it shortly. Hearing these words, everyone was shocked. What kind of gift could be more precious than red sandalwood Buddhist beads blessed by a master? Zhang Hengbao also grew curious, stroking his beard and smiling. Good. I look forward to Tianfang's gift. At this moment, Zhang Tianfang's subordinate walked over and whispered, young master, 3 large boxes are already at the entrance. Father, my birthday gift has arrived, Zhang Tianfang said loudly. At the same time, 3 large boxes were brought before everyone. He pressed on a box and deeply inhaled. 3 years ago, I was to marry Wanqiu. Her premarital pregnancy brought endless humiliation to my Zhang family and ruined our reputation. Hearing Zhang Tianfang's words, Zhang Hengbao's face darkened. All the Zhang family members also looked embarrassed. This humiliation had always pained them. But today, this matter is completely resolved. No one can insult my Zhang family. Those who trample upon my Zhang family shall only die. Zhang Tianfang's gaze was like a sword, his voice like thunder. Everyone's expression changed. Zhang Hengbao's eyes also shone with a divine light. Zhang Tianfang stood tall, his head held high, and loudly said, indeed, these inside are the heads of that wretched woman and her family of 3. They are the birthday gift I present to father. My Zhang family cannot be humiliated. Bang, bang, bang. Zhang Tianfang suddenly ripped open the boxes. Everyone's expressions were agitated. Their attention focused on the boxes. Zhang Hengbao was even more excited to the extreme. However, the next second, the triumphant smile on Zhang Tianfang's face instantly froze, because these were not the heads of Chun Fan, Li Wanqiu, and Xiao. Instead, they were the heads of the Zhang family's 18 black-clad guards. The hall was filled with a deathly silence. In an instant, the entire Zhang family fell silent. All the guests' eyes were filled with shock, horror, and bewilderment. What on earth is going on? You scoundrel! Is this the gift you gave me? Zhang Hengbao instantly flew into a rage, his face livid. He slammed his right hand heavily on the table. All the guests present trembled in fear. Zhang Tianyuan and Zhang Tianyun both looked at Zhang Tianfang, their faces filled with mockery. Zhang Tianfang's expression was unprecedentedly mortified. With a thud, he knelt before Zhang Hengbao. Father, this must be Li Wanqiu's lover, Chun Fan. Before this, he annihilated the Yang and Lin families. At this moment, Zhang Tianfang was so furious his lungs felt like they would explode. Chun Fan. Zhang Hengbao's eyes blazed with monstrous killing intent. Must kill Chun Fan and Li Wanqiu. They must pay the price. The dignity of the Zhang family in Modu brooks no provocation. As the words fell, the vast Zhang family also boiled with rage. Kill Chun Fan. Kill Chun Fan. The shouts shook the heavens. Murderous intent was chilling, and the surrounding temperature plummeted to freezing. Half an hour later, the Zhang family was still decorated with lanterns and streamers. But unlike before, the atmosphere was extremely oppressive. Guests sat in their seats, cold sweat trickling down their foreheads. Everyone appeared panicked and uneasy. They exchanged glances, whispering, "The Zhang family is truly terrifying." The Li family was also an aristocratic family with a god of war. Yet even the old master of the Li family was arrested. Kneeling before them were dozens of figures. All were direct descendants of the Li family. There were children just a few years old, and old men over 80. Each of these people was tied up, trembling all over, their faces pale. The over 80-year-old patriarch of the Li family trembled as he asked, "Patriarch Zhang, what offense has our Li family committed, that you seize us on your 50th birthday?" Although they had been captured and made to kneel, the Li family dared not show anger towards the Zhang family. Although the Li family had a god of war, what did that count for in front of the Zhang family? What did you do? The good deeds your Li family's daughter and son-in-law did. Zhang Hengbao roared in fury, suddenly flinging 18 heads of black-clad guards onto the Li family members. Looking at the bloody, wide-eyed heads, the Li family members were scared pale and screamed. Zhang Tianfang's eyes were savage as he dragged two figures from the Li family crowd, who were none other than Li Wanqiu's father, Li Renxin, and mother, Ma Fangfang. You gave birth to a good daughter. Beat them. Beat them hard. His voice contained endless rage and savagery. Slap. 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 Instantly, a series of slapping sounds echoed. We were wrong. We were wrong. Don't hit us. Mercy. Have mercy. Li Yuanxing and Ma Fangfang cried profusely, desperately begging for mercy. However, the Zhang family members merely watched with cold eyes. Piercing screams echoed. Li Yuanxing was beaten until he saw stars, fresh blood and saliva flowing from the corners of his mouth. Mercy! We'll go right now to the Yang family and bring those two beasts to the Zhang family to apologize. Li Yuanxing truly couldn't take it anymore, begging for mercy incessantly. Zhang Hengbao, his voice fell, and several subordinates stopped. Li Yuanxing and Ma Fangfang had just let out a sigh of relief when Zhang Hengbao's cold voice came again. If you can't bring them back, your Li family will vanish from existence. His voice was like the Arctic cold wind, making the Li family members shiver uncontrollably. Meanwhile, at the Yang family's jadeite manor, you had been guarding Li Wanqiu's side for 3 days and 3 nights. Although you looked tired, your eyes were filled with joy. Li Wanqiu was still asleep, but her previously pale complexion had gained some color. Daddy, Mommy's hand isn't so cold anymore. Xiao grabbed Li Wanqiu's hand and smiled happily. You gently smiled. Mommy will wake up soon. Let's move Mommy outside to get some sun. You patted Xiao's little head, then moved Li Wanqiu to a lounge chair on the courtyard lawn. Just then, whoosh! A group of aggressive people suddenly rushed into Jadeite Manor. They were not friendly. Each of these people exuded a sharp, formidable aura. Zhao Tianji, the patriarch of the Xiao family beside you, his face changed drastically. Ever since he saw those terrifyingly powerful black-clad figures kneel before you 3 days ago, he knew he had latched onto a powerful backer. For the past 3 days, he had been at your beck and call, even acting as a nanny, coaxing Xiao to hold hands while you treated Li Wanqiu. But when he saw the scene, he trembled all over, his face turning ghastly pale. Because among this group of people, several had an aura no less than that of a grandmaster, and the black-clad figures from before had already left. This meant that now only you remained. Could you stop them? These people came aggressively, and it was clear they meant no good. However, you didn't even twitch an eyebrow. You looked at them with icy eyes and slowly said, "Who are you? And what business do you have here?" Li Yuanxing stepped forward, intending to vent the humiliation he suffered earlier at Zhang family's birthday on you. "You scoundrel! I am Li Wanqiu's father. You're that wild man who committed adultery with her back then, aren't you? How dare you lay hands on and cause trouble for the Zhang family's people? At the Zhang family patriarch's 50th birthday, you truly don't know your place, you arrogant and rude little beast. Hurry up and take Li Wanqiu and that bastard to the Zhang family and kneel to apologize. Perhaps you might still keep your life." Li Yuanxing was shocked, angry, and fearful. In Modu, the Zhang family almost held absolute power. The Zhang family said if Chun Fan and Li Wanqiu weren't brought back, the Li family would be annihilated. They weren't just talking. The Li family's old master beside him said angrily, "Act now. Grab this adulterous pair and that little bastard." As his words fell, the Li family's experts surged forward, pouncing towards your family of 3. "Mr. Chen, be careful." Zhao Tianji's face changed drastically. But the Li family's experts were too fast, rushing fiercely before you like lightning. However, at this moment, you let out a thunderous roar. In an instant, it was like a sudden clap of thunder, and an overwhelming aura swept forth. All the Li family members were crushed to the ground by this aura. The Li family's experts who rushed over even vomited blood and were sent flying back. A single roar has such power. Zhao Tianji hadn't finished speaking, yet these aggressive experts were instantly crushed on the spot. Zhao Tianji was stunned. Every time he saw you, he was shocked by your power and mystery. His gaze towards you was filled with deep reverence and admiration. Your face turned ashen, and you strode towards the Li family members. Your gaze shifted to Li Wanqiu, who was lying unconscious on the lounge chair, and the well-behaved Xiao. You were utterly enraged. As a father, do you not know what kind of life Li Wanqiu has lived under the Zhang family's oppression these past 3 years? A life worse than pigs and dogs. Sleeping under bridges, scavenging for trash, eating cold, raw potatoes. Even when she was sick, hospitals wouldn't admit her. The little bastard you speak of was, even with the Zhang family's approval, locked in a doghouse by the neighbors. Little Xiao is only 2 years old. You show no concern for your daughters' and granddaughters' lives. How cold-hearted. Are you even fit to be parents? A series of condemnatory voices rang out. The Li family members' morale instantly dropped, and shame and embarrassment appeared on their faces. Even though they were oppressed by the Zhang family, they were still aristocratic descendants, living a life of luxury and abundance. But Li Wanqiu and Xiao lived a life worse than beggars. Li Wanqiu's mother, Ma Fangfang, even started crying directly. My daughter! My poor daughter! Li Yuan Xian and the old master's faces showed a trace of unbearable pain. You looked at the Li family members' faces, filled with shame. Although your gaze was still cold, it softened slightly. You said coldly, as for the Zhang family, you needn't worry. After Li Wanqiu wakes up, I will personally take her to their door and make the Zhang family pay a bloody price. Murderous intent swept forth like a cold wind, and the surrounding temperature plummeted to freezing. The Li family members were all stunned. Personally go to the Zhang family's door to seek justice? How is that possible? Li Renxin sighed. The Zhang family is too powerful. Truly too powerful. We simply cannot be their opponents. Beside him, Li Yuanxin's elder brother, Li Yuanda, sneered. I know you annihilated the Yang and Lin families, but what does that count for? What is the Lin family? My Li family could annihilate them with a single finger. But, speaking of this, Li Ren's eyes filled with fear and despair. But the Zhang family can crush the Li family with a single finger. Do you know how vast that difference is? Do you know? Who do you think you are to actually go to the Zhang family to seek justice? Truly arrogant and conceited. For a moment, all members of the Li family couldn't believe anyone would remain silent. Some sighed in lament, but more often, it was wanton mockery, venting the fear and despair in their hearts. You calmly swept your gaze over them. Dandan said, Go back and tell the Zhang family that a person is responsible for their own actions. If they have the guts, come to the Yang clan and find me to settle the score for Li. Tianyi looked at you disdainfully and snorted coldly. Ridiculous. The Zhang family isn't stupid. They're not that easy to fool. Li Tianyi looked at the others. Prepare to forcibly bag up your family of 3. Huh? Forget it. The Li family elder sighed deeply. Let's go back. We'll find another way to deal with the Zhang family's accusations. The other Li family members agreed one after another. Although Tianyi was unwilling and reluctant, he could only leave helplessly. Not long after leaving Emerald Manor, Li Tianyi finally couldn't help but raise her voice. Grandpa, the Zhang family is not that easy to deal with, and we returned empty-handed. They definitely won't let me go. Do you really want to, for the sake of Li Wanqiu, that woman who ruined our family's reputation? Let the Li family suffer the consequences. Thinking of the Zhang family's accusations, Li Tianyi's face turned pale and her whole body trembled. The Li family elder looked back in the direction of Emerald Manor and sighed. How could I bear to let the Li family be buried with her? You are all my descendants. I cannot bear to see you fight amongst yourselves. As for their future, whether they can escape the Zhang family's fury depends on them, he muttered, thinking of the Zhang family's accusations. Seeing the Li family members' shocked and intense gazes, a hint of bitterness flashed in the Li family elder's eyes. He immediately picked up a brick from the ground and smashed it down hard. In an instant, bright red blood flowed down from his right arm. The Li family members were stunned. Elder, you at this time can only use the bitter flesh stratagem. He handed the brick to Li Tianyi. Li Tianyi's face instantly turned pale. Ah! Following that, cries of anguish echoed in the air. Not long after, looking at the miserable Li family members, Zhang Hengbao, the Zhang family patriarch, was dumbfounded. The Li family's 80-something-year-old elder's one right arm hung limply, and his head was broken. The others were even more miserable to describe, especially Li Tianyi, who had fainted. The Li family elder coughed a few times, his face ghastly pale, as he spoke to Zhang Hengbao angrily. Those two little beasts were arrogant and insolent. They knew our Li family wanted them to go to Modu, yet they completely disdained us and even directly called us the Zhang family's running dogs and told us to get out. Our Li family originally wanted to forcibly capture them, but that paramour was truly too strong. In just a few dozen seconds, our Li family was tragically crushed. The Li family elder pointed at everyone's wounds. That little beast showed no mercy in his actions. Every move resulted in broken tendons and bones. Even I, this 80-something-year-old old man, suffered his cruel hand. He even made a statement, telling the Zhang family to get lost and go to Yang's beast. The Li family members also continuously added fuel to the fire. Hearing this, Zhang Hengbao's face instantly darkened to the extreme. Good, very good. I didn't expect that pair of adulterers would actually have such guts. Then our Zhang family will personally lead people to the Yang clan, to let them know the price of enraging the Zhang family. Zhang Hengbao was furious to the extreme. He slammed his right hand down hard on the table. The hard Wangwali wood table instantly shattered into powder. In an instant, all members of the Zhang family erupted in rage. As a top aristocratic family in Modu, when had they ever suffered such provocation? Within a single day, they had actually encountered it twice. All of it came from Li Wanqiu's despicable paramour, and Li Wanqiu's former fiancé, Zhang Tianfang, was even more furious. Father, let me lead the team. I will definitely wash away the previous humiliation and make that pair of adulterers pay the price. Zhang Hengbao nodded, and anger burned in his eyes. This time, if you cannot bring back their heads, then your position as heir will end here. You do not have the qualifications or ability to inherit the Modu Zhang family. Yes, father. 2 hours later, at the Zhang family's private airport, powerful, dragon-like figures, one after another, followed Zhang Tianfang, with murderous aura soaring to the sky. With the support of his father, Zhang Hengbao, he gathered 10,000 Zhang family guards. Every single one was a martial arts expert. There were also 20 Grandmaster-level experts. And even among them, one war god. Such a magnificent lineup was simply terrifying to the extreme. 10,000 people walking felt like an 8.0 magnitude earthquake. The ground of the Zhang family's airport was trembling. And the 10,000 people, riding private jets, headed menacingly towards the Yang clan. The news of this also shocked the Yang clan's officials. And you had already received Ghost Juga's transmitted message. You curled your lips into a cold, sinister smile and slowly said, 3 years without making a move. It seems many people have already forgotten the terror of the Hell Black Dragon. As your voice fell, you sent out a mass email. On it were 4 large characters, Black Dragon emerges from cave. As this email was sent, the whole world was stirred up. In Taibang's capital city's slum, a dirty beggar, like a walking corpse, staggered along. His clothes were tattered beyond recognition, emitting a foul odor. Looking closely, this beggar was very young, only 20 or 30 years old. All his limbs were intact, Only his left hand was missing a finger. 9 fingers. The beggar's eyes were filled with deep fatigue and dullness, as if he had lost all hope. Where did boss go for 3 years? 9 fingers, the beggar, held his chest, in front of an old mobile phone. His face revealed deep unwillingness. Boss, I've searched all the slums in the world. Where on earth are you? 3 years ago, more than 10 countries mobilized dozens of war gods. Over 1,000 top experts besieged boss. Since then, boss has been missing. Some people stayed with the organization, hoping for boss's return. The rest scattered to various places around the world, searching for boss. 9 fingers, the beggar, believed boss might have been injured, lost his memory, and ended up in a slum. So he swore to travel across every corner of the world to find boss. Just at this moment, 9 fingers' old mobile phone hanging around his neck beeped in bursts. Could it be that boss has news? He frantically opened his phone. An email appeared before his eyes. Flying dragon mobilized. Ha ha ha. Boss is back. 9 fingers instantly awoke furiously. 3 years boss was missing. After 3 years, he finally returned. His loud laughter echoed through the slum. After the laughter, 9 fingers stomped and crushed the Taibang person beside him, erupting with a soaring aura. There was no longer any decadence or numbness, as if a drawn sharp sword. Whoever dares to touch my boss. At the same time, in a certain Western country, 2 twin brothers, one known as Dragon, the king of the dark prison of Eastern Europe, and the other known as Tiger God, the #1 assassin of Eastern Europe. And in a Koryo Kingdom Kendo dojo, a white-robed man sat cross-legged. Above his crossed knees lay a long sword gleaming with cold light. Zhuobufan. He was known as the sword god of Koryo Kingdom. Below him were over 1,000 white-robed swordsmen, all of whom were his disciples. Not long after, the Xianxia border war gods guarding the border, with solemn expressions, urgently transmitted a message to the empire. Report. The king of assassins, 9 fingers, leading his group of madmen, is about to enter Xianxia, requesting to intercept. No sooner had the words fallen than another report began. Western Dragon Lord and Tiger God are about to enter Xianxia, requesting to intercept. Immediately after, there was another report. Koryo Kingdom Sword Saint Zhuobufan, leading 1,000 powerful swordsmen, are about to enter Xianxia, requesting to intercept. Just as the border war gods were facing a formidable enemy at this critical moment, the Xianxia imperial capital made a call. No need to intercept. What? In an instant, the many border war gods' expressions were filled with deep astonishment and disbelief. Why is there no need to intercept? If these people were to rush into Xianxia, how much destruction would it cause? However, facing the border war gods' confusion, the Xianxia dragon elder merely said faintly, "This is an order." After hearing this, the many border the god of war was instantly sacrificed. And after you sent out, Black Dragon emerges from cave to summon your brothers, Modu's Zhang family experts, led by Zhang Tianfang, majestically arrived at the Yang clan's airport. A full 10,000 people, at the very least, all are first-class experts. 10,000 of them, like fierce tigers descending from the mountain. Unstoppable. Zhang Tianfang, leading 10,000 Zhang family experts, walked off the private jet. In the airport, members of the prominent Yang clan, one by one, had already raised banners and gathered to warmly welcome them. The heir of the Modu Zhang family, Zhang Tianfang, has arrived at the Yang clan. Tianfang annihilated the Lin family. Cruel and arrogant. Please, Zhang family, uphold justice and suppress Tianfang. One by one, the prominent Yang clan members' faces all squeezed out fawning smiles. Especially after seeing Zhang Tianfang leading the experts walk off the plane. A smile appeared on Zhang Tianfang's face. Indeed, the reason we came this time is to uphold justice and must kill Tianfang. A moment later, at the Yang clan's Emerald Manor. Thud. 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 Sounds of footsteps, one after another, shook and resonated, as if a real earthquake had been set off. Then, one by one, figures dressed in black and stained with blood red stepped forward. In an instant, the entire Emerald Manor's lawn was filled with dense crowds of black-clad figures. All were experts from the Zhang family. A full 10,000 people. The crowd parted, revealing a path. Zhang Tianfang, leading the White Tiger War God Ling Tiandao, 20 Grandmaster experts, and 300 super experts, walked out. He saw Wanqiu lying on a reclining chair, seemingly asleep. He and Xiao were playing nearby. A family of 3. The harmonious and joyful scene made Zhang Tianfang first taken aback. He never would have thought that, after knowing the Zhang family had come for revenge, this fellow would actually be so audacious, as if no one else existed. Next, Zhang Tianfang, seeing this warm and harmonious scene, immediately felt a monstrous killing intent rise in his eyes. Tianfang, today I will surely shatter all 206 bones in your body, making you watch with your own eyes as that bitch and also that little bastard are executed by me. One cut at a time. His voice was icy cold, making people shiver with fear. However, facing Zhang Tianfang's cruel threats and over 10,000 Zhang family experts' soaring aura, he maintained a calm expression, not even bothering to lift his eyelids, as if no one else was present. He carried Wanqiu and Xiao back to the villa, then slowly walked out. Looking at Zhang Tianfang, whose killing intent was chilling, your mouth curved into a sneer of disdain. Coincidentally, my wife needs to recuperate for a while, and it's inconvenient to go to Modu. I didn't expect you would actually come here to die. Boom! This one sentence completely stunned the Zhang family's experts. Facing 10,000 experts, 300 super experts, 20 martial Dao grandmasters, and 1 war god, this kid actually dared to say they came here to die. Ha 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 ha. Truly arrogant to the point of stupidity. Zhang Tianfang was so angry he laughed instead. The tens of thousands of Zhang family experts also burst into laughter. Could it be that he thought he alone could defeat so many experts? It's simply a mantis trying to stop a chariot, overestimating your own strength. Zhang Tianfang pointed at you, angrily laughing. Wanqiu, that bitch, has terrible taste. Actually, abandoned Modu's top-tier, prominent Zhang family's heir, and chose you, this arrogant fool. Crazy. As he spoke, he even felt sympathy for Wanqiu. Foolish woman. No wonder for 3 years she could only become a beggar, picking up trash for a living, with such taste. She deserves this. Hearing these words, your eyes immediately narrowed. A trace of killing intent instantly swept over like a bone-chilling cold wind. The next second, you charged out like an arrow shot from the bowstring. Zhang Tianfang's pupils instantly constricted, and his scalp tingled. He only felt that before his eyes was a fierce beast that could devour him at any moment. But upon seeing the 10,000 experts behind him, He let out a sigh of relief. Instead, he became enraged out of humiliation. Chun Fan, show your trump card. I want to crush what you rely on. If you don't show it now, I'll lose my patience. And I'm afraid you won't have a chance anymore. Zhang Tianfang wanted to see, when his experts crush with overwhelming force your trump card, and one by one crush all your 206 bones. Can you still be so calm? And when he, in front of you, hunts and kills Li Wanqiu and Xiao, can you still be so calm? Thinking of such a scene, Zhang Tianfang was so excited he almost went mad. But at this moment, clatter, a group of people rushed into the Emerald Manor. The Xiao family of the Yang clan. We will live and die with Chun Fan. Leading them was none other than Xiao Tianji, the patriarch of the Xiao family. Behind him also followed his son, Xiao Liangshan. Xiao Tianji looked at the people of the Moduzhang family. His eyes filled with intense rage. When he learned that Zhang Tianfang had ordered the slaughter of the Yang clan's 8 prominent families, he was simply stunned, but also felt fortunate that he firmly stood on your side. Xiao Tianji drew his long saber and glared angrily at the Moduzhang family. Over 1,000 Xiao family elites also uniformly drew their long sabers. This scene, falling into the eyes of Zhang Tianfang and the Moduzhang family experts, first made them surprised, then burst into roaring laughter. Ha 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 ha! I'm dying of laughter. It seems not only Chun Fan is foolish. The Yang clan's prominent families are also both stupid and ridiculous. Even if the Yang clan's 8 prominent families combined, our Moduzhang family could also crush them. Now, a mere Xiao family actually dares to draw their sabers against us. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. I'm dying of laughter. This is the biggest joke I've ever seen. The Moduzhang family experts laughed so hard that tears came out, as if watching a farce. Even the white tiger war god Ling Tiandao, who had always been serious and rigid, at this moment also chuckled. His eyes were filled with contempt and disdain. He alone, with a long saber, could slaughter the Xiao family clean. Zhang Tianfang laughed so hard he almost had snot running out. Pointing at you, he bent over laughing. That's all? It's just a few more ants. I have a full 10,000 experts here, and a war god, regardless of quantity or quality. Your side cannot compare with our Zhang family. Zhang Tianfang looked at you disdainfully, as if looking at an idiot. However, you suddenly smiled. Is that so? Of course. You can tell just by looking. Just as Zhang Tianfang was smiling and about to order an attack, you said faintly, "Then take another look now." As your words fell, whoosh, 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 figures, one after another, arrived behind you like lightning. 1, 2, 3. In a moment, the huge Emerald Manor was packed full. At least 30,000 people. Among them were beggars, some with bodies full of tattoos, tattooed gang uncles, some white-clad swordsmen. Although their clothes were not uniform, but everyone exuded a powerful aura, and every single one was a first-class martial artist. Not only that, among them, at least 3,000 super experts, and even 200 martial Dao grandmasters. What was most astonishing was the 30 leading experts. Each one's aura was not inferior to the white tiger war god Ling Tiandao, or even stronger. These people seemed to have walked out of a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. Their eyes were icy cold, exuding an aura that made one's scalp tingle, and made one's whole body tremble. However, when these terrifying experts turned their gaze to you, at that moment, One by one, their faces were filled with endless excitement and exhilaration. Their eyes were extremely fervent. Thud. Thud. 30,000 experts uniformly half-knelt. Greetings, boss. Rumble. 30,000 people shouted in unison, their voices like an exploding thunderclap. The scene was extremely shocking. In an instant, whether it was Zhang Tianfang or Ling Tiandao, and all the Moduzhang family experts, they were completely stunned. One by one, their expressions were blank, their eyes wide and round, their faces filled with horror and disbelief. The nine-fingered mad beggar. It was clearly him, upon seeing a figure whose clothes were tattered. With only 9 fingers. The beggar. The white tiger war god Ling Tiandao's expression drastically changed. He was Southeast Asia's most terrifying and powerful assassin. Even he, as the white tiger war god himself, didn't dare to oppose him. But now, this incredibly arrogant 9-fingered mad beggar actually knelt before you. This recently released prisoner. How is this possible? Seeing beside him, a white-clad swordsman, the white tiger war god Ling Tiandao even more gasped in cold air. Sword Saint Zhua Bufan. You are Zhua Bufan, the sword saint of Gaoli Kingdom. Looking at the half-kneeling figures on the ground, with a revered gaze, looking at your white-robed swordsman. Lin Tiandao was completely stunned. Zhua Bufan once served as the swordsman of Jialiguo, known for his single-sword kills. He bowed his head in submission. He was conferred the title of Sword Saint. And now, the Sword Saint, who had sworn to kill countless, Zhua Bufan, actually knelt at your feet. Lin Tiandao had directly killed the king of assassins from the southeast islands outside Xianxia. 9-fingered madman. Long Yen from the western dark prison. And Zhua Bufan, the sword saint of Jialiguo. There was also Bald Shura. Each of them was a prominent figure, a household name. They were either kings of assassins or underground overlords, or comparable to those conferred the title of war god, top-tier powerhouses. Every single one of them could cause an earthquake with a stomp of their foot. Yet now, these very individuals were all kneeling before you. Lin Tiandao was utterly dumbfounded. Looking at the 30,000 powerhouses exuding sharp auras, Lin Tiandao felt a sense of dread. He swallowed a mouthful of saliva, his gaze filled with terror as he trembled and asked you, "What exactly is your identity?" Hearing Lin Tiandao's question, your lips curved into a cold smile. A terrifying aura surged forth from you. Have you ever heard of the Hell Black Dragon? With that one sentence, Lin Tiandao was so terrified his face turned ashen, almost unable to hold his long saber steady. What is the Hell Black Dragon? At this moment, Zhang Tianfang frowned, asking with dissatisfaction, "Young master, the Hell Black Dragon." The Hell Black Dragon is a legend, Lin Tiandao stammered, continuing, 3 years ago, one of the world's most famous assassin organizations, the notorious drug lord of the Southeast Islands, Garcia, trafficked weapons, manufactured drugs, forced innocents into prostitution, and committed every imaginable evil. He commanded 30,000 and 4 armies, and no one dared to provoke him. Even international police who went to investigate had their bodies hung in trees for vultures to devour. But one day, a dirty little girl found the leader of the Hell Black Dragon, knelt before him and hired him with a few coins to kill Garcia. That very night, the Hell Black Dragon moved, breaking into Devil's Domain and slaughtering thousands of Garcia's private soldiers. Finally, Garcia was forced to invite 2 other major warlords for help, but overnight, along with Garcia's organization, the 3 major drug lords and nearly 50,000 private soldiers were all annihilated by the Hell Black Dragon organization. That night was known as one of the bloodiest nights in Devil's Domain. Later, everyone learned about the little girl's story. It turned out her parents were international investigators, investigating Garcia's crimes. They were discovered, her father was killed on the spot, and her mother was defiled and tortured for 3 days and 3 nights before being fed to rabid dogs. The The 12-year-old girl sought out the abyss, hoping to bring Garcia to justice, but no one could judge him. But no one expected that at the time, the Hell Black Dragon was still an unknown assassin group. Yet they took on this job and even utterly destroyed Garcia's organization. From then on, the Hell Black Dragon became famous in one battle, shaking the world. Hearing Lin Tiandao's words, Zhang Tianfang's face also turned pale, and the corner of his eye twitched, sensing an ominous premonition. And that's not all, Lin Tiandao continued. The Hell Black Dragon organization's famous achievements are countless. Once, the Harder family in the Middle East, possessing $300 billion and over a dozen large oil fields, was wiped out overnight by the Hell Black Dragon organization, plundered and slaughtered. Speaking of this, Lin Tiandao trembled. Unable to, the Harder family in the Middle East was one of the few prominent families, possessing everything from planes to cannons. Their mercenaries were countless, with nearly 100 Grandmaster-level war gods. Even globally, they were a renowned name. Yet, they too died at the hands of the Hell Black Dragon organization. As Lin Tiandao recounted, Zhang Tianfang and many of the Zhang family members were instantly drenched in cold sweat. Finally, Lin Tiandao trembled and said, "The Hell Black Dragon organization. Every member has a black dragon tattoo etched on their body. Their leader is the Hell Black Dragon, the most powerful and terrifying assassin king recognized worldwide." As Lin Tiandao's voice fell, the 30,000 mysterious powerhouses, half kneeling before you, slowly removed their upper garments. In an instant, Lin Tiandao's pupils sharply contracted, and his entire body froze. Especially upon seeing the exposed skin of those mysterious powerhouses, his eyelids twitched wildly, and his expression was filled with endless terror and fear, because their skin was covered with hideous scars, like wriggling centipedes. Even more terrifying was that on their backs was a terrifying black dragon tattoo, lifelike, with blood-red eyes, as if adorned with fresh blood, seemingly from the 9 nether hells, roaring without restraint. Boom! Looking at that unrestrainedly roaring black dragon tattoo, it was as if a 500-kilogram TNT bomb exploded in Lin Tiandao's mind, scaring him back several steps. All his previous fear and worry finally erupted completely. Hell Black Dragon. You are the Hell Black Dragon. Looking at the lifelike black tattoos, Lin Tiandao was utterly paralyzed with fear. Zhang Tianfang and the Zhang family powerhouses also turned pale, their expressions filled with boundless terror and dread. That's right. They are from the Hell Black Dragon organization. And I am the leader of the Hell Black Dragon organization. Hell Black Dragon Chunfan. As your voice fell, a terrifying aura instantly swept out from you, seemingly tearing the surrounding air apart. Zhang Tianfang, along with the 10,000 powerhouses of the Zhang family from Modu behind him, under this shocking pressure, none of them could stand steadily. Then, everyone knelt on the ground. Cold sweat drenched everyone's backs. Zhang Tianfang, on the ground beside you, couldn't even crawl up. He lay on the ground, his entire body trembling, like a lamb caught by a predator. You coldly glanced at them, having long anticipated all of this. Lin Tiandao, seeing this scene, could no longer suppress the anger in his heart, and finally roared, "The Hell Black Dragon is indeed formidable, but don't forget this is Xianxia. If you dare to act wildly here, the elders of the imperial capital and all of Xianxia's war gods will absolutely not let you off." However, you remained completely unmoved, a cold smile gracing your lips, even tinged with a hint of playful cruelty. What a coincidence! I am also a Xianxia war god. Hearing this, Lin Tiandao's expression stiffened completely. He stared in disbelief, his pupils dilated like 2 dark abysses. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. You're lying. You glanced at him indifferently, a faint, enigmatic smile on your face, and said, I think you'll receive news very soon. Sure enough, no sooner had your words fallen, Lin Tiandao's communicator rang. He didn't dare to breathe loudly, his hand holding the communicator trembling. As the voice from the communicator came through, Lin Tiandao's face completely changed. He stared intently at the message, his chest heaving violently. Guardian War God. The highest-ranking war god. Titled Guardian War God. This is impossible. Impossible. His hand loosened, and the communicator dropped to the ground with a clatter. He slumped to the ground as if all strength had been drained from him. At this moment, the 30,000 members of the Hell Black Dragon organization around you all looked at you with fervent eyes, their adoration simply impossible to conceal. Their expressions, illuminated by the fresh, bloody light, were like those of devout priests, and you were their totem. At this moment, Zhang Tianfang could no longer sit still. His previous arrogance had vanished without a trace. He ignored everything, gritting his teeth, forcing his weak legs to move, turned, and ran without even a word of farewell. He even didn't forget to shout loudly at Lin Tiandao, "Stop them! Stop Chen Fan!" As he watched Zhang Tianfang's retreating figure, he let out a clear, unhindered laugh. Lin Tiandao's face was as ugly as if he had swallowed a fly, but he had no choice but to obey Zhang Tianfang's command. After all, the Zhang family had once shown him favor. Facing Lin Tiandao, who was fiercely preparing for battle, he showed no fear, but instead coldly uttered a few words. Hell Black Dragon. Heed the order, kill. A furious roar, filled with killing intent, exploded like a clap of thunder. 30,000 Hell Black Dragon experts immediately moved out. Each of their faces bore a bloodthirsty madness. The gleaming weapons in their hands were aimed directly at the Zhang family experts. A bloody massacre then unfolded. In an instant, the air seemed to be dyed red with blood, and saber glints and sword shadows intertwined. Amidst it were screams that made one's scalp tingle. Blood splattered onto the emerald green lawn, quickly transforming Emerald Manor into a Shura field. Corpses and severed limbs covered the ground. A thick scent of blood filled the entire battlefield. You could even detect the smell of remains mixed with soil. The Hell Black Dragon's power and killing ability was simply not something the Zhang family could contend with. The experts around him fell one after another. Zhang Tianfang's steps gradually quickened, but he had clearly already realized there was no retreat, while Lin Tiandao, standing rooted to the spot, watched all this, utterly dumbfounded, even losing the courage to draw his saber. At this moment, your gaze suddenly fell upon Lin Tiandao. When facing the formidable threat of the mighty Hell Black Dragon organization, even the once renowned for his bravery, the White Tiger War God, appeared powerless and pale. However, at this very moment you suddenly said, "You may leave." What? Hearing that you were actually letting him go. Lin Tiandao's eyes were filled with deep shock and disbelief. But Zhang Tianfang must die. No. Lin Tiandao. Take me with you. Take me along. Hearing this, Zhang Tianfang hysterically screamed. However, facing your icy threat, Lin Tiandao lowered his head, and with heavy steps, walked out of Emerald Manor. At this moment, everyone's gaze was focused on Zhang Tianfang. His heart felt as if it had plunged into an icy abyss. Thumping, he suddenly knelt on the ground, desperately begging for mercy. "Don't kill me. Don't kill me. I can give you 10 billion as ransom." But your expression remained as cold as frost, much like the permafrost of the polar regions. You began to recall 3 years ago, on a cold New Year's Eve, with the wind howling, Li Wanqiu, heavily pregnant, was mercilessly battered by the cold wind on the street, clutching the money from selling scraps, just wanting to buy a bun for herself and her unborn child, to get some nourishment. However, you, Zhang Tianfang, ordered people to follow her, making all bun shops refuse to sell to her, and even trampled the buns on the ground in front of her, forcing her to kneel and pick them up to eat. Your eyes were filled with blood-red fury. The surrounding air suddenly dropped as if touched by frost, becoming hazy. The scene was filled with suppressed indignation. And the 30,000 Black Dragon organization's experts, hearing that their big sister-in-law was treated like this, were instantly consumed by rage. Nine-fingered Mad Beggar clenched his fists, wishing he could punch Zhang Tianfang's head to smithereens. The sword Saint Zhua Bufan gripped his sword hilt, about to draw his sword and kill. Even Zhao Tianji of the Xiao family showed deep resentment and displeasure. Zhao Liangshan directly spat, while Zhang Tianfang could only kowtow frantically, apologizing helplessly. I was wrong. I'm an animal. I'm an animal. Zhang Tianfang desperately kowtowed, begging for mercy. I can compensate. Spare my life. However, hearing Zhang Tianfang's words, you suddenly smiled. That smile, though seemingly simple, was like a bone-chilling wind. In an instant, Zhang Tianfang trembled all over, and large beads of cold sweat seeped out. I tell you, only your death can slightly soothe the pain Wanqiu endured. Saying this, you slowly raised your foot, and with one stomp, Zhang Tianfang's right hand instantly became a bloody, mangled pulp. Ah! My hand! My hand! Zhang Tianfang looked at his right hand, which had become a pulp, and let out a piercing scream. However, this was not all. You followed Zhang Tianfang's left index finger and squeezed hard. With a crunch, Zhang Tianfang's left index finger was instantly crushed to powder. Zhang Tianfang's face turned ashen from pain, about to faint. However, how could you let him escape? A silver needle pierced his acupoint. Dream on if you want to faint. Next, agonizing screams echoed throughout Emerald Manor. That scene shocked everyone present. After all 206 bones were crushed one by one, you finally stood up. Yet, at this point, Zhang Tianfang was still not dead. He looked at you as if to say, the Zhang family of Modu will certainly not let you off. You glanced at Zhang Tianfang and coldly replied, I won't let the Zhang family off either. As your words fell, you stepped forward, and Zhang Tianfang's life came to an end. Zhao Liangshan, who witnessed all this, and Zhao Tianji turned pale. Meanwhile, the experts of the Hell Black Dragon cheered loudly. They were almost all extremely furious, wishing they could have acted themselves. You cast your gaze towards Nine-Fingered Mad Beggar and the others, and said with relief, Chun Fan, thank you, brothers. Nine-Fingered Mad Beggar replied, we are willing to go through fire and water for boss. The others also responded with fervent enthusiasm. Long Yi, his face full of killing intent, said, Boss, the Modu Zhang family is truly too oppressive. Why don't we flatten them right now? The white-clothed sword Saint Shuabufan's eyes were filled with sword intent. Flatten the Modu Zhang family. Avenge big sister-in-law's suffering. The 30,000 Hell Black Dragon brothers shouted in unison. Kill! 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 You waved your hand. We will. But not now. For now, I'll take good care of your big sister-in-law. All 30,000 Black Dragon brothers nodded. Yes, boss. Afterwards, they respectfully bowed, then quickly retreated. Then your gaze fell on the people of the Yang family and Zhao family. You all did well. Zhao Tianji, the Zhao family patriarch, was ecstatic upon hearing this. As long as you're satisfied, we won't disturb you further. After seeing off these brothers and subordinates, you raised your head, your gaze piercing the horizon, looking towards Modu. Your eyes were filled with deep bloodlust and killing intent. Zhang family, Wanqiu and Xiao, the suffering you caused them these past 3 years, I will make you repay it all, one by one. After saying this, a chilling smile curled at your lips, sending shivers down one's spine. At the same time, Zhang Hengbao, the Zhang family patriarch, sitting in the main seat, frowned slightly. Is there still no news from Tianfang and Lin Tiandao? He felt something was amiss. They've been gone so long and haven't brought back the people you wanted. The Zhang family's head steward respectfully replied, Master, Rest assured. The second young master will certainly bring back Li Wanqiu and her family of 3. Zhang Tianfang, who was beside him, said with a smile, Father, rest assured. We just received news that second brother, at Yang's airport, used the blood of the 8 great clans for a blood sacrifice to seal it, and not a single person was injured or died, yet he annihilated the 8 great clans. As he spoke, a hint of disdain flashed in his eyes. In his opinion, Zhang Tianfang's trip to the Yang family this time was simply an armed parade. How could a mere Chen Fan bring so many experts? Zhang Hengbao heard this and his heart also settled. AI! That boy has been training for so long. Yet he's still so impetuous. At a time like this, he even forgot to report the news to me. A doting smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Among his 3 sons, he liked Zhang Tianfang the most. Before, Zhang Tianfang had caused a great loss at the birthday banquet. This time, sending him to lead the team to kill you and Li Wanqiu was just a formality to gain experience. The one truly leading the team was still the war god Lin Tiandao. With him and 10,000 Zhang family experts, annihilating the entire Yang family was no problem. But at this moment, a hurried sound of footsteps was heard. Immediately after, the Zhang family doorman came to report. Patriarch Lin Tiandao, the war god, is back. Ha ha ha. Then let him in. That boy finally knows to arrange for someone to report the news, Zhang Hengbao said happily. However, the next moment, Lin Tiandao stumbled in, his face pale and utterly disheveled. Everyone turned pale with fright. What's going on? Lin Tiandao has always been steady. Why is he in such a sorry state now? A bad premonition surged in Zhang Heng's heart. A bad premonition. Lin Tiandao, what happened? Why are you like this? Where's Tianfang? With a thud, Lin Tiandao knelt on the ground. Patriarch, Tianfang. The sentries are gone too. 10,000 Demon City. Zhang family experts are all gone too. Boom. These words were like a giant meteor smashing into a tranquil surface, stirring up huge waves in the world. All the Zhang family members were just, how is that possible? 10,000 Demon City Zhang family experts. And 300 super experts. And 20 grandmasters? How could their entire army be wiped out? Lin Tiandao the Yang family. Who has the ability to annihilate 10,000 Demon City Zhang family experts? Speak quickly. Could it be Chen Fan? He's just a prisoner, he absolutely couldn't possibly have this ability. For a moment, the Zhang family members seemed to have exploded into chaos. Simply didn't believe Lin Tiandao's words, but seeing his expression, the massive Zhang family immediately fell silent. Not a sound. All the Zhang family members' expressions were filled with shock and disbelief. Zhang Hengbao almost fainted, but enduring the pain of his beloved son's life and death, he asked Lin Tiandao, trembling, Lin Tiandao, Tianfang. And they were all annihilated? Who exactly did this? Several names surfaced in Zhang Hengbao's mind. They were the Zhang family's rivals, top-tier aristocratic families. As for Chen Fan, that prisoner, how could he possibly do it? However, Lin Tiandao's words made Zhang Hengbao and all the Zhang family members shocked, horrified, and despairing. Chen Fan. It was Chen Fan who did it. Not only is he the Hell Black Dragon's leader, he is also Xianxia's top-tier protector god of war. Hell Black Dragon. Protector god of war. These 2 titles were like nuclear bombs in the Zhang family members' hearts. They absolutely couldn't believe that ordinary prisoner was actually the terrifying Hell Black Dragon. And in his hands, he also held the title of Protector God of War. How is this possible? Lin Tiandao trembled all over and yelled hysterically, that person is a god, a demon. He is the most terrifying existence. We are no match for him at all. His Hell Black Dragon subordinates. Experts are like devils from hell. Zhang Tianfang was by that demon god. After having all his bones crushed, he screamed for half an hour before finally dying in agony. Hearing Lin Tiandao's words, all the Zhang family members' faces turned ashen. Zhang Hengbao was struck by lightning and said, trembling, Tianfang, my son, you died so miserably. Zhang Hengbao's eyes streamed with 2 lines of bloody tears. Then he roared in grief and indignation. Chun Fan, I will surely kill you. Even if you are a demon god, I will still slay a god to avenge me. His voice contained endless resentment, making people shudder with fear. Immediately after, Zhang Hengbao stared fixedly at Lin Tiandao. He tore off half a jade pendant from his neck and pondered. A few minutes later, his eyes flickered with intense hatred. Lin Tiandao, take this half-jade pendant, go to the northern coast and find Xianxia. Xianxia, hearing these 2 words, inside the Zhang family hall, gasps of surprise rose and fell. Lin Tiandao's body trembled even more violently. That is one of the Zhang family's most important trump cards. Unless it's a Knight of Annihilation, it must absolutely not be used lightly. However, seeing Zhang Hengbao's madness in his eyes, Lin Tiandao, having no choice, could only take the half-jade pendant and head to the northern coast, to meet that person who makes even gods of war tremble, that fierce god. Watching Lin Tiandao's back disappear, Zhang Hengbao withdrew his gaze, scanned the room, and said coldly, Tianfang was killed, and 10,000 Zhang family experts at the Yang family were annihilated. No one is allowed to leak this matter. Yes, Patriarch. It's just that Lin Tiandao's voice was too loud, and some scattered words still got out. Outside the Zhang family hall, the attendants who served, their eyes flickered with an unreadable expression. Meanwhile, at the Li family, Zhang Tianfang was killed. 10,000 Demon City Zhang family experts were annihilated at the Yang family. Hearing this news, all the Li family members' expressions aroused. Endless shock and horror. How is this possible? Then an uproar broke out. The Li family's eldest son, Li Rend, found it hard to believe. Such a lineup. Even if we had a god of war, it would still be a dead end. How could the small Yang family possibly have such strength? Li Wanqiu's father, Li Yunshan, guessed if it might be related to Chen Fan. His voice grew softer and softer. Clearly he didn't believe it either. Li Yuenda even scoffed. Second brother, are you crazy? How could Chen Fan possibly have this ability? Just as everyone was guessing, the Li family's old master slowly said, our hidden spies in the Zhang family, for safety, didn't hear the full details, but from scattered words they guessed. The Zhang family's defeat might perhaps be related to a secluded protector god of war residing in the Yang family. The name Protector God of War was like a magnitude 12 earthquake, shaking the Li family. For a moment, everyone felt extremely delighted. Towards that powerful Protector God of War, they felt immense admiration. Li Tianyi clapped his hands and said excitedly, the Zhang family has been arrogant and overbearing. Finally, someone can deal with them. Li Rend was overjoyed. Old master, why don't we send someone to befriend that protector God of War? If we have his support, the Li family will no longer suffer the Zhang family's oppression. Li Renxin's eyes lit up. Although he was displeased with Li Wanqiu's out-of-wedlock pregnancy, she was still his daughter. If there was a protector god of war's support, he and his granddaughter would have a chance to return home. The Li family's old master nodded. His eyes filled with joy. Whether the Li family can turn things around depends on whether we can befriend that protector god of war. As his words fell, the Li family's old master immediately sent people to the Yang family. There was only one goal, to spare no effort and cling to the protector god of war's mighty. At the Daong Hotel, in a luxurious suite, the Li family members gathered together. One by one, their faces were filled with strong anticipation and excitement. Li Ren was smiling so widely he couldn't close his mouth. This time we must cling to the protector god of war's mighty thigh. This is our Li family's only chance to turn things around. Ever since Li Wanqiu's out-of-wedlock pregnancy, the Li family has been suppressed by the Zhang family and grown increasingly weaker. If it weren't for the Li family old master's wisdom and experience, they would have already been by the Zhang family destroyed. Li Yuanxin, thinking of this, a trace of anger flashed in his eyes. Originally, Li Wan Qiu's marriage alliance with Zhang Tianfang was a huge blessing. Could have made the Li family ascend to heaven in one step. He as Li Wan Qiu's father, his status would also rise with the tide. He even had a chance to become the next patriarch. Now his status in the Li family is even lower than his elder brother's son, Li Tianyi. This time, the task of clinging to the protector god of war's thigh was also entrusted to Li Ren and Li Tianyi. Li Yuanxin felt increasingly displeased with Li Wanqiu and her. Li Yuanda coldly cast a glance at second brother Li Yuanxin, feeling secretly gleeful. If it weren't for Li Wan Qiu's messing around, the future head of the family would definitely be Li Yuanxin. It would never have been his turn, Li Yuanda. Thinking of this, he looked at his daughter, Li Qingqing. Li Qingqing was wearing a large blue cheongsam, with a curvaceous figure. Her features were exquisite and a pair of captivating electric eyes were charming. Thinking of this, Li Yuanda's gaze fell on Li Qingqing. Qingqing, when you meet the protector god of war later, you must interact more. If he is not married, do you know what to do? Father. Don't worry. Li Qingqing blinked and smiled, full of confidence. With my beauty, even if the protector god of war is married. What of it? Li Tianyi also laughed and echoed. Junior sister is in her prime of youth and beauty. Even if the protector god of war has a wife, how can she possibly resist junior sister's charm? As soon as his words fell, Li Ren was imagining the beautiful scene of the future. At this moment, Li Ren's phone suddenly rang. He excitedly answered the call, and eagerly asked about the situation. But not long after, his face darkened. He hung up the phone and said angrily, "What? Hundreds of people, a carpet style search actually didn't find any news of the protector god of war? What's got them so on edge?" Then one phone call after another rang out. Each call brought only bad news. All the search teams had not found any information about the protector god of war. Li Yuanxin's expression darkened to the extreme. How could there be no protector god of war? Li Yuanda? Helpless. Li Tianyi's expression was also very grim, and Li Qingqing, who had just meticulously dressed up, preparing to win over the protector god of war, almost bit her teeth to pieces. She still wanted to show off her charm. Now she didn't even know where the person was. How could things have turned out this way? A hint of disappointment flashed in Li Yuanxin's eyes. He sighed deeply. Since the protector god of war cannot be found for now, then I'll go see Wanqiu. Hearing this, Li Qingqing's eyes flashed with a hint of schadenfreude. Good. I also want to see that cousin and her cheap sister. From childhood, Li Wanqiu had been more outstanding than her, and was also a blazing summer female warrior. Now she's so down and out, picking up trash. For 3 years, Li Qingqing was extremely gleeful. She wanted even more to see her miserable state, thinking that she herself could become the protector god of war's wife. While Li Wanqiu was just the daughter of a prisoner, Li Qingqing's mouth split into a wide smile. You and your group arrived at Emerald Manor. You heard the commotion and brought your daughter, Xiao, to greet them. You said to Xiao, this is your maternal grandfather, granduncle, uncle and aunt. Xiao, wearing a white dress, sweetly called out, Grandpa. Hello. Granduncle. Hello. Uncle. Hello. Aunt. Hello. Li Yuanqing heard Xiao call him maternal grandfather, and remembered Li Wanqiu's premarital pregnancy. He kept a straight face and said nothing. Li Yuanda, Li Tianyi, and Li Qingqing didn't even glance at Xiao. They felt that Xiao was the shame of the Li family. She was the Li family's culprit for the past 3 years, being suppressed by the Zhang family. Seeing that her maternal grandfather and the others ignored her, Xiao's mouth immediately drooped, and her eyes welled up with tears. She whispered to you, feeling wronged, Daddy, do Grandpa and the others not like Xiao? Your expression suddenly darkened, and a coldness appeared in your eyes. This wasn't all. Li Qingqing scanned the hundreds of acres of luxurious manor, and with a mocking tone, asked, Cousin-in-law, I heard you just got out of prison. You're not working as a security guard here, are you? This family is quite magnanimous, even hiring someone who's been to prison. Where's cousin? Why isn't she coming out? Is she perhaps working as a nanny, washing vegetables and cooking? Li Yuanda and the others were reminded by Li Qingqing's words. It was only then that they realized you were living in such a luxurious manner. For a moment, all eyes turned to you. And you, hearing Li Qingqing's sarcastic remarks, said coldly, This is the home of Wanqiu, Xiao. And me, what? Li Qingqing's smile instantly froze. Li Yuanda and the others were even more incredulous. The Li family members' gazes swept across Emerald Manor. It covered hundreds of acres, with gardens, lawns, and a swimming pool. This was the Yang city's luxurious manor in the city center, worth at least 1 billion yuan. For a moment, every single Li family member felt they had misheard, or even doubted their own ears. Xiao happily said, Yes, Daddy is right. This is our new home, a very, very big house. Her words echoed, making the Li family members' expressions even uglier. Li Yuanda's face was ashen, his eyes burning with rage. He questioned, Where did you get the money to buy such a luxurious manor? You're just a prisoner who just got out of jail. Did you get rich in prison? Don't tell me such a joke. Li Qingqing shrieked. It must be Li Wanqiu's money. She managed many of the Li family's businesses. She must have definitely embezzled the Li family's wealth. Li Tianyi also roared. How could Li Wanqiu have money? It all belongs to the Li family. As the third generation of the Li family's grandson, he has always been the Li family's pride and joy. Now, the assets have been transferred by Li Wanqiu to a prisoner man. He gritted his teeth in anger. Li Yuanqing's expression also darkened. Li Wanqiu has money, but instead of giving it to him, she helped outsiders instead. Facing the Li family's angry questions and roars, Xiao was so scared her face turned pale, grabbing your leg and trembling. Shut up! A thunderous roar, like a sudden clap of thunder, startled them awake. The Li family members were instantly startled. A strong murderous intent shot out from your eyes. Since Xiao had been well-behaved and polite, asking hello, but was ignored, your displeasure instantly erupted. Li Wanqiu has money? How could she and Xiao have lived so miserably? Living under a bridge? Picking up trash to survive? Thinking of how the Li family had ignored Li Wanqiu for the past 3 years, murderous intent boiled in your heart. If it weren't for the fact that they were Li Wanqiu's and Xiao's relatives, you would have already crushed them. After being startled, the Li family members became enraged out of embarrassment. Li Tianyi sneered, "It's you! What are you doing? Do you still want to fight?" Li Yuanda shouted excitedly. If it weren't for Li Wanqiu's premarital pregnancy, how could our Li family have been suppressed so miserably by the Zhang family for the past 3 years? In 3 years, our Li family's assets shrunk by 2/3. Thinking of this, his eyes were filled with hatred. However, he dared not hate the Zhang family. He blamed everything on Li Wanqiu. Li Qingqing sneered. The Li family lives under the shadow of the Zhang family. You and Li Wanqiu heard the Li family's accusations. The murderous intent and anger in your heart were instantly extinguished. You fell silent. Indeed, if you hadn't been poisoned and defiled Li Wanqiu back then, there wouldn't be all these things today. You not only owe Li Wanqiu and Xiao, but also the Li family. Seeing your silence, Li Tianyi became even more arrogant. This luxurious manor belongs to our Li family, even if it's your compensation for the losses, and that limited edition Mercedes-Benz. Now, you three, get out of our Li family's property. The Li family members didn't even look at the unconscious Li Wanqiu. They actually wanted to drive your family of 3 out of the manor. Hearing Li Tianyi's roar, your eyes narrowed slightly. You said calmly, "All right, this Emerald Manor will be considered my compensation to your Li family. From now on, we no longer owe each other." "Daddy," Xiao suddenly pleaded. "Granduncle, Mama is still sick. Can we wait until Mama is well before we leave?" Her small face looked pitiful, arousing pity, but Li Qingqing had no sympathy at all. She said sarcastically, "She'll never get better, not in her whole life." Li Tianyi glanced at Xiao with disgust. "Get out of our Li family's place quickly." Li Yuanda also had a cold and disdainful expression. Li Wanqiu's father, Li Yuan Xian, saw this scene and hesitated to speak. He still said nothing. Now, he was not well treated in the Li family. In the final analysis, it was Li Wanqiu who caused it. You coldly scanned these people, snorted coldly, and said nothing. You picked up Xiao, who still wanted to say something, and carried Li Wanqiu from the bedroom, walking out of Emerald Manor. Now we have nothing again. Not even a single quilt. Xiao said, her eyes welling up with tears and feeling wronged. "Daddy, the big house and the pretty car are gone. And my Barbie doll. Xiao, you'll have them again soon." Wait. Just then, a voice came from behind. You stopped. Do the Li family members still have some conscience? Wanting to keep you? Only. The next words made you realize you were wrong. Li Yuanda glanced at the unconscious Li Wanqiu with disgust, and asked in a deep voice, "Do you know any news about the protector god of war in Yang City?" You stopped, frowned slightly, and asked in return, "What do you want with the protector god of war?" "What for?" Li Yuanda glared at you. If it weren't for the protector god of war taking action and destroying the Zhang family's avengers, your family would have been finished long ago. Our Li family might have been finished along with you. Admiration and adoration appeared in Li Qingqing's eyes. The protector god of war is truly too powerful. He must be a handsome, domineering, incredibly powerful, mature man. Li Qingqing was already imagining the glory and happiness of becoming his wife. At this moment, you calmly said, "I am the protector god of war." Calmly and plainly, without any hint of showing off. To you, being the protector god of war was nothing. If it weren't for taking care of Xiao and Li Wanqiu, you wouldn't even bother to agree. But as soon as your words fell, in an instant, the entire place became silent. The Li family, everyone was stunned for a moment. A prisoner who just got out of jail is actually the protector god of war? What kind of joke is this? Boom! After a brief silence, there was an uproar. The family's guards burst into laughter. Ha ha ha! What did I just hear? He actually said he's the guardian war god. That's insane. Ridiculous. The guardian war god is the top war god of Xianxia kingdom. Even the demon capital's top aristocratic Zhang family was humiliated by him. That's right. The Zhang family's heir, Zhang Tianfang, even died by the guardian war god's hands. He's truly too powerful. One by one, the Li family guards looked at you as if you were an arrogant madman. Li Tianyi was shocked speechless. He then reacted, laughing until tears streamed down his face. Ha ha ha. You trash. You actually claim to be the guardian war god? That's hilarious. If you're the guardian war god, then I'm the Jade Emperor. How could the guardian war god be imprisoned for 3 years? How could he be reprimanded by him and then lose a valuable luxury mansion worth 1 billion Xianxia coins and slink away? What kind of joke is that? Just like Li Tianyi, Li Rend and Li Qingqing beside him also burst into laughter. Li Qingqing's pretty face was filled with scorn and disdain. The guardian war god is a magnificent man who stands tall. So how could he possibly be trash like you? Li Wanqiu's father, Li Yuanxing, also had a face full of disappointment. He had originally thought Qianfan had some ability, but it turns out he's just pretending to be the guardian war god, treating them like fools. His daughter followed such a man and even gave birth to Xiao. It's truly a huge mistake. Thinking of this, Li Yuanxing said with disgust, "You too. Quickly get out. Don't let me ever see you again." Your gaze calmly looked at them. You couldn't be bothered to explain. You picked up Li Wanqiu and Xiao, then turned and left. Not long after walking out of Emerald Manor, Xiao whispered, "Daddy, let's go live under a bridge. No one will chase us away from there again." Hearing this, and seeing Xiao's wronged expression, your heart ached terribly. "Mr. Chen, what's wrong?" Just then, Zhao Tianji, carrying large and small bags of gifts, saw this situation and was utterly astonished. After he understood the situation, he was utterly speechless. That family had no idea what they had missed. Thinking of this, Zhao Tianji ingratiatingly said, "Mr. Chen, I'll find you a quiet place, where no one will disturb you, better than Emerald Manor." You casually glanced at Zhao Tianji. "I don't like owing favors." "Mr. Chen," Zhao Tianji quickly replied, "What are you talking about? To serve you is the honor of our Zhao family." Just as Zhao Tianji was about to continue speaking, the next scene utterly stunned him. You simply flicked a finger, and a black gold card slowly slid into Zhao Tianji's palm. Seeing this move, Zhao Tianji was instantly terrified. The external release of true qi, this was absolutely something a grandmaster couldn't even dream of achieving. Even not many war gods could accomplish it. This black gold card contains 100 billion. I need the Xiao family to help me establish a commercial empire in Xianxia, and you can receive a portion of the original shares. $100 billion. A commercial empire. And the Hell Black Dragon. And Guardian War God Qianfan's sincere invitation. A company like this would simply be a future behemoth of Xianxia Kingdom. And he, Zhao Tianji, actually had the opportunity to manage such a company. In an instant, Zhao Tianji was so excited his whole body trembled. He knelt down with a thud, his eyes welling up with gratitude, and said, "Thank you, Mr. Chen, for giving me this opportunity. I don't want any shares. I only wish to be Mr. Chen's loyal dog, to forever follow by your side." You looked at Zhao Tianji with appreciation. This person knew when to advance and retreat, and also had the determination to burn his bridges. Previously, when the Magic City Zhang family invaded the Yang family, he dared to bring people to reinforce them, while the other 8 great aristocratic families were all swept clean by Zhang Tianfang. This person indeed had some ability. As for betrayal, Zhao Tianji was a smart person who saw things clearly, and you were not someone easily deceived. You nodded. Zhao Tianji was ecstatic. Holding the black gold card, he swore, "Within 3 days, the entire Yang family's business circle will be exclusively yours, and then it will break out of the Yang family sphere to expand throughout all of Xianxia. Please give this commercial empire a name." Looking at Zhao Tianji's expectant and respectful gaze, you pondered for a moment before uttering 2 words, "Giant Dragon." That very day, a commercial company named Giant Dragon Group suddenly appeared, directly sweeping across the entire Yang business circle. The Yang family's 8 great aristocratic families, as well as the neighboring families' businesses, were all completely devoured by the Giant Dragon Group. Like a legendary greedy, gluttonous giant dragon, in just 3 days, the entire Yang family's domain was brought under the Giant Dragon Group. And this was not all. The Giant Dragon Group began to expand beyond the Yang family sphere. It roared, opening its bloody, gaping maw. In the following period, throughout the vast Xianxia, a commercial empire named Giant Dragon Group rapidly rose. For a time, the Xianxia business circle's biggest news was the Giant Dragon Group. And the general manager of Giant Dragon Group, Zhao Tianji, also became a hot and influential figure in Xianxia Kingdom. Countless young people successively took Zhao Tianji as their entrepreneurial idol, even affectionately calling him simply Xiao. However, only Zhao Tianji knew that everything he had was because of you. His heart was filled with endless gratitude and awe towards you. He knew deeply that you could give him everything, and naturally you could also take everything away. Therefore, he became even more respectful. Some major forces didn't believe that a Yang family's aristocratic clan could achieve all this. They successively investigated the Giant Dragon Group's behind-the-scenes controller. However, the clues were all obscured as if by a mysterious hand. For a time, all greedy intentions went into hiding, leaving only awe and apprehension. Meanwhile, when the Zhang family heard about the Giant Dragon Group's rise, the atmosphere grew increasingly oppressive. Zhang Hongbao even consecutively beat to death several servants who had made minor mistakes. Chen Fan. Just wait until Lin Tiandao returns from the northern Lin Hai with the Black Fiend. I'll make sure you die without a doubt. At this moment, you brought Xiao and the unconsciously Wanqiu to your new home. Looking at the surrounding blooming flowers and vines covering the villa, and even a playground, Xiao's big, dark, sparkling eyes stared wide and round. Dad, is this our new home? It's even bigger and prettier than our old home. Of course, this is our new home, and Daddy promises that no one will ever be able to chase us away again. Under Zhao Tianji's guidance, you led Xiao inside. Mr. Chen, Mr. This luxurious manor was just built and doesn't have a name yet. You can choose a name, and I'll arrange for someone to engrave the nameplate. Hearing this, you raised an eyebrow, looked at Xiao, and softly asked, Xiao, what name do you want? Xiao, upon hearing this, wrinkled her little face in serious thought for a moment, then excitedly exclaimed, I've got it, Daddy. Our new home should be called Happy Garden. Our family will always live happily in the garden. Although this name and your Hell Black Dragon organization, which has killed countless people as its leader, seemed a bit of a stretch, but as long as your daughter Xiao was happy, that was enough. Who would dare to dislike it? You would make them like it. In the following few days, you and Xiao spent a happy time together. Inside Happy Garden, the sounds of crisp childish voices and a mature man's laughter constantly echoed. You found that Xiao was very well behaved, not at all spoiled, obedient and sensible. Seeing your daughter, Xiao, your heart was filled with love, and you couldn't help but kiss Xiao's pink and tender little face. Daddy, Mommy said girls can't just let any man kiss them. Mommy is right. But Daddy is an exception. Besides Daddy, no other man is allowed. Daddy's a cheat. Xiao made a funny face, revealing a shy expression. Then she thought of Mommy. Little Grass's face instantly darkened. Dad and Mom, when will you wake up? Mother has been asleep for a long time. For a long time, your original happy expression instantly turned pained. Li Wanqiu, in these past 3 years, too many cases have accumulated. You repeatedly treated her, consuming a lot of true emotion, and even with your power you felt disheartened. Yet Li Wanqiu still hadn't woken up. Thinking of this, you felt extremely pained in your heart, and your whole person seemed a bit dejected. You wanted to make up for the past you, who had suffered so much pain. Besides making amends, there was also pity and admiration, and even a subtle feeling had arisen. But if Li Wanqiu never woke up, everything you wanted to do would be futile. At this moment, Xiao hugged you and whispered, "Mommy doesn't want Xiao anymore. Does she?" As she spoke, her eyes turned red, and tears sparkled. You quickly comforted her. How could Mommy not want Xiao? You are her dearest and most loved person. Saying this, you suddenly thought of something. That's right. How could Li Wanqiu not want Xiao? She endured so much pain, but never took her last breath. Wasn't it all because of Xiao? Facing the Zhang family's 18 black figures, a desperate situation, she never gave up. Li Wanqiu couldn't possibly not want Xiao. The only one she didn't want to face was you. Perhaps it was because she didn't know how to face you, or perhaps she still harbored resentment towards you. Thinking of this, you felt as if struck by lightning. Mo Yimo Tianxing's medical skills, I have already mastered them. Li Wanqiu's injuries, after so many days of my treatment, had recovered by more than 90%. How could she not have woken up? She just didn't want to face me. That's all. Your lips curved into a bitter smile. Just then, Xiao suddenly said, "No. How could Mommy not want Daddy?" Mommy definitely wants Daddy. Looking at your daughter's anxious expression, you gave a bitter smile. Xiao, you don't understand. Daddy hurt Mommy too deeply. Daddy. But you're Xiao's daddy. She used to most envy the children walking across the sky bridge, with Mommy and Daddy each holding one hand. How could Mommy not want Daddy? Xiao was so anxious she was almost crying. That's right. How could Mommy not want Daddy? You smiled, stroking your daughter's little head, and softly said, "Don't worry, Xiao. Daddy will definitely make Mommy wake up." As your voice fell, you walked into Li Wanqiu's room. You looked at her peaceful and beautiful sleeping face with gentle eyes, and softly began to speak. "Wanqiu, I am a demon. Wu Fu, by countless countries, countless forces, is called the Hell Black Dragon, the Murder King. The Black Dragon killer organization under my command is notoriously fierce. 3 years ago, over a dozen countries sent out dozens of war gods and thousands of grandmasters. To kill me, they resorted to every means. Ultimately, I was poisoned by dozens of potent poisons, including a terrifying aphrodisiac. But when the poison took effect, I lost control." Saying this, your stern face showed a faint hint of guilt. I knew how terrifying I was at that time. My eyes were blood red, like a demon king from hell, extremely brutal. I brought you endless fear and pain, and even some of my poison transferred to your body, causing you to lose the power of a war god. This was the first thing I did in my life that went against my conscience. Whether it was killing the great poisoner Xianxia, or slaughtering the Middle Eastern holy lineage, the Harder family, I had no regrets in my heart. But this one thing was the biggest mistake I ever made. In despair, I walked out dejectedly. I just happened to meet Elder Long of Xianxia leading people for me. I did not resist. Entering prison was a form of atonement for me. But I really didn't know you were pregnant. If I had known you were pregnant, known you were suppressed and abused by the Zhang family like that, even if I had to break out of Kunlong prison in Susan, I would have definitely come out. Saying this, your eyes turned blood red, wishing you could punch yourself. You didn't notice Li Wanqiu's eyelids on the bed slightly twitched. I'm sorry. I know apologies are useless. I hope you can give me a chance to let me take care of you and Xiao. The room fell silent. After a long time, you sighed deeply. Wanqiu, do you know? In these 3 years I was in Kunlong prison. I met some interesting people. For example, Magic Garment Mo Tianxing. He taught me medical skills and healed all the potent poisons and injuries in my body. He always said I wore a bitter face all day, like a miserable daughter-in-law oppressed by an evil mother-in-law. Yes, my heart was indeed very bitter, thinking that I had actually hurt an innocent girl. I wished I were dead. As for an evil mother-in-law, Wanqiu, my parents are long gone from this world. When I was very young, they were killed by a cruel person. Now I only have you and Xiao. Saying this, you looked at the door, where Xiao was peeking in, and revealed a gentle smile. Xiao is really cute, well-behaved, and sensible. She can eat by herself, and dress herself, all thanks to your good teaching. But she's always been worried about you. Xiao can't be without mommy. As you spoke, Li Wanqiu, who had been in a deep sleep, slowly shed 2 lines of tears. Just as you were pouring out your heart, Xiao suddenly cried out in surprise, Daddy, look, Mommy's crying. Mommy, who had been in a deep sleep, actually had a reaction. Xiao was overjoyed, and quickly rushed to Li Wanqiu's bedside. You quickly turned your head to look, only to see Li Wanqiu slowly open her eyes.